To order, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This meeting complies with the Open Public Meetings Act. Notice of this meeting has been posted on the municipal bulletin board and published in the applicable newspapers.
Good evening, everyone. Before we have roll call, we'd just like to welcome our newest alternate, Mr. Jim Selecchia. Thank you for joining us. Welcome aboard. And Kathleen, roll call, please.
Mr. Hyman.
Here.
Mr. Martins.
Here.
Ms. Rosal.
Here.
Mr. Tremor. Here. Ms. Cusano.
Here.
Mr. Selecchia.
Here.
Ms. Bradley.
Here. Okay. I know we have resolutions this evening, Ms. Cipriani.
Yes, we have 4 resolutions this evening. The first is Resolution 2025-23. This is for property located at County Line Road. This was the Megan's Associate, oh, sorry, I did it the wrong way. The Megan's Associates office, where this was a while back. It was a change to the landscaping plan. For the members of the board that were here at that time, a plan had been approved that allowed them to put landscaping on someone else's property, and that had to be amended so that the landscaping plan was all implemented on their own property.
Okay, I need a motion and a second, please, to approve the resolution.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Hyman.
Yes.
Mr. Martins.
Yes.
Ms. Rosal.
Yes.
Mr. Tremor. Ms. Cusano.
Yes.
Mr. Selecchia.
Yes.
Ms. Bradley.
Yes.
Okay, the next resolution is 2025-24. This was granting a variance for installation of a 5-foot solid gate fence in the front yard of property located at 353 Cedar Swamp Road. This was a corner lot, and the resolution includes the conditions placed by the board on the record.
Okay, we need a motion and a second, please.
Motion.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Hyman. Yes. Mr. Martins.
Yes.
Ms. Rosal.
Yes.
Mr. Tremor. Ms. Cusano.
Yes.
Mr. Selecchia.
I'm going to abstain.
Ms. Bradley.
Yes.
Okay, then there's Resolution 2025-25. This is a resolution granting a time extension for preliminary and final major subdivision approval for Elaine McChrystal. I had a conflict on this matter, so Mr. Shea represented it, but the time extension was granted by the board with conditions that I believe are in the resolution.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Hyman.
Yes.
Mr. Martins.
Yes.
Ms. Rosal.
Yes.
Mr. Tremor. Ms. Cusano.
Yes.
Mr. Selecchia.
Abstain.
Ms. Bradley.
Yes.
And then there's Resolution 2025-26, was granting final subdivision approval with variances on property located at 225 Brewers Bridge Road. This was heard at our last meeting, and there were a number of conditions. This was the one with the road that was to be created as part of another approval, and is it Holden? Holden Court. And the board had placed a number of conditions that would not allow, they grant this approval contingent on Holden Court being completed and being accepted by the township. And those conditions are in the resolution.
I make a motion to approve?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Hyman.
Yes.
Mr. Martins.
Yes.
Ms. Rosal.
Yes.
Mr. Tremor. Ms. Cusano.
Yes.
Mr. Selecchia.
Abstain.
Ms. Bradley.
Yes.
And those are all the resolutions.
All right, we're going to move on to the approval of minutes. I have 3 sets of minutes. One is for September 17th of this year. And so I need a motion and a second, please. Everybody but Mr. Selecchia and Ms. Rosal are eligible to vote.
Make a motion to approve?
Roll call, please.
Mr. Hyman?
Yes.
Mr. Martins?
Yes. Yes.
Mr. Trimmer? Ms. Cusano?
Yes.
Ms. Bradley?
Yes. All right. So the next set of minutes goes back to 2024 from the September 4th meeting. The only people eligible to vote tonight are myself and Ms. Rosal. So we need a motion and a second to approve.
Motion?
Second. Roll call, please.
Ms. Rosal?
Yes.
Ms. Bradley?
Yes. All right, the third and final set of minutes is also from 2024, July 17th. Eligible to vote, Dr. Hofstein is not here, so it would be myself, Mr. Hyman, and Ms. Rosal. So I need a motion and a second, please.
Motion to approve?
Second?
Roll call, please.
Mr. Hyman?
Yes.
Ms. Rosal?
Yes.
Ms. Bradley?
Yes. I also have 3 vouchers in front of me. The first one is for our recording secretary for this evening in the amount of $175. I also have minutes from the July 17th of 2024 meeting, a voucher for that in the amount of $100, and a third one for the minutes from the September 4th of 2024 meeting, also in the amount of $100. So I need a motion and a second to pay the vouchers, please.
Motion to approve all 3?
Second?
Roll call, please.
Mr. Hyman?
Yes.
Mr. Martins?
Yes.
Ms. Rosal?
Yes.
Mr. Tremor? Yes. Ms. Cusano?
Yes.
Mr. Selecchia?
Yes.
Ms. Bradley?
Yes. Ms. Cipriani, do we have any announcements for this evening?
We do not.
All right. Moving
It's a
right
rare
along.
occasion.
All right, we need to swear in our professionals.
Do you swear that the swear or affirm that the testimony you give before the board will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
Please state your name and position for the record.
Mark Romeyer, Board Engineer.
Ernie Peters, Board Planner.
Gina Tumalo, Assistant Zoning Officer.
There's no executive session this evening. Any matters for discussion?
I'd like to, sorry, I'd like to bring up one thing. And it's more, I think, for the residents who are present. So on the agenda, we updated the agenda. At the very end, there's a link. And the purpose of that link was to be, so that you are able to access all the information that we have, right, that the applicant has submitted for the application, so maps, things like that. That's been updated. It wasn't working before. It now is. So if you follow that link or you click on that link at the very end of the application, you'll get to see all the information that we have here available to us, so that then you can ask your questions, all right? So I just wanted to, and thank Dawn for updating this, because it hasn't worked in a long time. But I think that will help a lot of our residents. Thanks.
Thank you. We have no administrative approvals this evening, so we are going to move on to applicant number 1, and I apologize if I butcher the name, Urse Noe Guevara Villa Lobos, use variance 3519, 747 Toms River Road.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board. Dante Alfieri on behalf of the applicant.
Hold on one second. Kathleen, can you hear?
You hear me?
It's just low.
It is low.
Anthony, can you hear? I could barely hear you either, so it wasn't just you.
Enjoy.
You hear me now?
Yes.
There we go. Perfect. Thank you. Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board. Dante Alfieri on behalf of the applicant. This property is 747 Toms River Road. If the board remembers, we were here back in, I believe, March of 2025. There were comments by the board and some of the residents in the neighborhood. So we went back, we made some modifications to the board, or to the application itself. Being that it's been a while since we've been before the board, we're going to go over the site itself, and then we'll touch on the changes, and then we'll address the comments in your professional reports. So without further ado, I'll have Mr. Murphy come up and be sworn in. He was previously sworn in, but I think we should have him sworn in again.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you will give this board will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And if you could say your name and your credentials had already been accepted.
Brian Murphy, M-U-R-P-H-Y, licensed professional engineer and planner in the state of New Jersey. I've been before this board, your planning board, and roughly 100 other boards throughout the state.
This board accepts your credentials.
Thank you. Exhibit that's up on the board is a Google Earth aerial shot of the property. The property is indicated in red. As you can see, it's pretty much entirely cleared. It's 2.4 acres in the PV zone. To the north are single-family homes. Those lots actually extend back to Route 571 or Toms River Road, but they all basically front and access out to Lakehurst Road, where this lot obviously does not. It doesn't have any frontage out to Lakehurst Road. It only fronts out to Toms River Road. Beyond, on the other side of Toms River Road, is vacant property. I don't see really that area ever getting built. And we have a wetland corridor, which is the wooded area to the east of the property and runs down off the site. And that, being in the PV, we're going to be dealing with the pinelands if we ever get the site plan. But we have a 250-foot buffer on the property, which consumes a large portion of the property. So we have roughly an acre left of property to deal with for any kind of development on the property, and it also restricts where we can come into the property simply because the buffer kind of extends across most of the frontage of the property. Could you bring up the site plan, please? I'm just going to repeat some of the testimony that we had last time, just because it's been a while. Previously, it's a 740 square foot office that we're looking to construct with a garage. It's for basically a karting company, and the yard will also be used for the karting company for storage of the containers. Right now, basically, there's one delivery truck and one dump truck. Even if we double in size, we're looking at 2 trucks. So it's not a heavy traffic type of use. Obviously, we want the carts out at the locations, not here. That means they're rented. We don't really want them on site, but obviously at times they will return to the site, and they would be back in that yard that's in the north portion of the property, which is the lighter gray area shown. We have that basically encircled with a solid fence. We're providing landscaping, evergreens around that as well. The board was concerned last time we had stone at that location, so we're making that concrete so we don't have the stone issue any longer. Also, on the south side, since everything drains that way, we'll have an oil water separator. So basically everything that runs off of that will be caught and brought into the oil water separator before it goes and gets discharged.
I'm sorry, Mr. Murphy, I'm just having a little trouble hearing you. What did you say after the concrete pad where you were going to accommodate the runoff, I think you were saying?
So the runoff will come off the concrete pad. Before, the concern was it would, run through the stone, anything that ran off. So making that concrete takes care of that. The other issue is, having it just run off and go into the wetland area, or into the buffer area at least. And basically, we're going to be able to direct all the stormwater that's on that concrete pad by curbing it and edging that, and direct it directly to an oil water separator. So any kind of fluids, basically that would be soluble would sit in that oil water separator.
If you don't mind, and There were a number of stipulations that were put on the record when this was here before. I thought it might be useful to go through those, and then if there's any alteration,
Sure.
you could let us know. I don't want to interrupt the flow, but I
No.
just figured since it's been a while since you were here.
Sure.
So the conditions that were discussed and were stipulated to the last time, there would be no maintenance of the trucks on site, no washing of containers on site, no welding on site. The containers were not to be stacked. Doubled that up. It would be a maximum number of, I believe it was 25 dumpsters on site. And the buffer, the wetlands buffer was, or the pinelands buffer was to be delineated by a fence.
Yes.
And then the last one I had was the impervious surface with the basin that you just discussed.
That's correct.
And those conditions are all, or stipulations are
They
still.
would all
good to
still
go.
stand today, yes.
Thank you.
And so basically having the oil water separator, I think that kind of handles a lot of the issue that we're looking at with the pad area. Again, it's pretty minimal use that we're talking about. There's very little traffic associated with it, other than when a truck comes out on delivery or back in. And again, the idea is to have these out in the field, not sitting here at the location. But obviously, that will occur at times. So the hours of operation were 7 to 4. Again, it's basically one employee, no clients come here. Everything is either over the phone or by internet. Again, we're looking at one roll-off truck, one dump truck, and we have 18 containers now. We said we would stipulate up to 25, and obviously, even if we double the trucks, we're looking at 4 total. Sewer water will be septic and well. Stormwater will comply. Again, this is a bifurcated application. It's just a use variance. So if we are approved, we do have to come back to you with a full site plan and with lighting, landscaping, and everything else that goes along with a typical site plan and stormwater. Signage will comply. The parking complies. Lighting, trash will comply. As indicated, we're provided a solid fence around the enclosure area and landscaping around that as well to try to buffer the neighbors. Access is through that southwest corner of the property. We're tied to that location simply because that's the only location that allows us out to access out to the highway because of the buffer that encompasses the better part of the property. Storage, again, it's just going to be the containers owned by the applicant, no other storage on site. We have a couple waivers. Outside agencies, obviously that wouldn't be appropriate at this time because it's only use variance. Traffic report, we would provide that as site plan. Again, it's a very minor traffic associated with this application. Current survey, again, the survey is from 2021, so it's not really very old, and obviously not a whole lot has been going on the site. The access drive, it's 1 foot off the side property line where 10 feet is required. Again, that's because of that buffer. That's the only area that we have to get into the site and gain access into the site. The variance is to allow a contractor office and outdoor storage area in the PV zone where it's not permitted. The permitted uses in the zone are a farm, a single-family home, schools and churches. Obviously, with the amount of property that's left over, developable area, it's not really conducive for a school or church or really a farm. Again, with regard to a single-family house, unlike some single-family house that do front out onto Toms River Road, none of the ones in this area do. They all front out to Lakehurst. And then they have a substantial buffer to Toms River Road, which obviously is the much busier road. This lot doesn't have those buffers at all because it's basically completely cleared. It's been cleared for decades, and obviously historically has been used for various commercial uses. A contractor's yard I've seen over years. I've seen certainly food trucks out here over the decades, and various other storage uses out on the site for a number of years. So I think a commercial use here obviously has been used commercially for a very long time, so it's suitable for this use. Looking at the special reasons, we're looking at partially under the hardship condition. but also under the particularly suited condition as well. Under the hardship, obviously, as I indicated, the space that's left doesn't really leave a lot of room for most of the permitted uses. Single-family home, though it could be constructed here, it's really not appropriate location as there's no buffer at all out to the roadway. And obviously, you'd be discharging out onto that busier road where everything else goes out to Lakehurst Road. Under the particularly suited criteria, the site is along a county road, which has other commercial businesses and has easy access throughout the community, which is more conducive for commercial use. The site is a sufficient size to accommodate the use. We're complying with the buffers and setbacks of the zone. And there are commercial businesses along this corridor, and we feel that this business will fit with that commercial use, especially since it's historically been used commercially. This would not be spot zoning, as there are no other properties in the area with the similar impacts of wetlands, of the buffers, and historically cleared and utilized as it has been over the past decades. Under the positive criteria, we look at the purpose of the MLUL, providing adequate light, air, and open space. The site is 79% open space. Building coverage is at 0.6%, and the impervious coverage would be under 20% total. So obviously very little use of the site. Provide sufficient space in appropriate locations for commercial and industrial uses. Provide a desirable visual environment. Obviously, the site would be cleaned up. Anything debris that's out there now would be cleaned up. There is an access road that goes around the site along the wetland buffer and closer to the wetlands. That would all be abandoned and no longer utilized. So again, I think it provides a better visual environment for the area, and it's an efficient use of the land. Under the negative criteria, we're looking at two prongs, whether the variance can be granted without substantial detriment to the public good. Obviously, the detriment to the public would be noise, traffic associated with the use. The permitted uses certainly could provide more traffic and noise than what we're proposing. Basically, we're looking at two trucks, very limited use, relatively quiet application here. Again, the idea is to have the dumpsters not on site, out at work sites. So we're very infrequently, we're going to have trucks, a heavy volume of trucks moving in and out of here, since there's only really one employee right now with a truck. And obviously, there's going to be no clients coming here, so again, it's only the traffic that would be generated by our own client here. The site is particularly designed to be efficient and function with the particular attention to the neighborhood by providing the use as far away from the residents as possible, and providing the buffering that I previously mentioned, and the access obviously is away from all the residential uses and out to Toms River Road. It's my professional opinion that the benefits of this project will outweigh any detriment. Under the second prong, we're looking at a variance will not substantially impair the intent and purpose of the zone plan or master plan. Again, it's a 2.4 acre site where 1 acre is proposed. Houses all around us all go out to Lakehurst Road and have substantial buffers out towards Toms River Road, where this site does not. It's historically been used for commercial uses. We think it's appropriate use that we're proposing, and the permitted uses really aren't very functional on the property, given the impacts of the wetland buffers on the property. The project is consistent with the purposes of the zone plan and master plan under the executive summary of 2009 3.0 goals and objectives. The master plan contains the goals and objectives statement. A key goal is to work towards a balanced community. While the housing stock is now more imbalanced in meeting needs, commercial and industrial development needs to be expanded to meet local demands, which this does. Under the goals and objectives, it also meets the community vision by, quote, a community with industrial and commercial development are suited for a diversity of economic and employment opportunities. Also to basically bring more, improve the rateable tax base for the township to help offset some of the residential impacts of the township. It's my professional opinion that the project will not substantially impair the goals and objectives of the zone plan or master plan, as I indicated, but will in fact support these goals and objectives. And I reviewed the Remington Vernix letter, and I have no issues with any of the comments in the letter.
So just want to reiterate to everyone, this application is solely for the use variance at this point. Should the board approve the use, then the applicant will come back to formalize a site plan. So we could go over more site plan details at a later time. At this point, the site plan that's provided on the variance map appears to be a realistic plan to accommodate what operation they're talking about. There's only a few vehicles, so they're only providing a few spaces. And since they've appeared last before the board, they've added a few features, taking the board's comments into consideration, such as runoff from the dumpster area. And so from an engineering standpoint, I would see no issue. It's more of a planning matter.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I wanted to reiterate what Mr. Romeyer said. This is a use variance application only, so they're not asking for variances for locations of things. They're not asking for design waivers from things. If something doesn't fit, they're not asking that this use variance allow it to fit. Unfortunately, sometimes when we get done with a use variance, people come back for site plan and say, well, those things were sort of subsumed in the use variance. In this case, it's very clear. They're not requesting any relief. They're simply asking for the use variance. They've indicated or provided around the proposed improvements a board-on-board fence with some landscaping. I believe they've addressed a number of the comments that were raised by the board members. Where they have a required perimeter buffer, especially along the rear, whether the board wants to talk about it more now or at site plan, we should make sure that buffer is solid, even if it requires us to go out and have trees located between the existing site and the existing single-family uses to the, I guess it's north of the property towards Lakehurst Road. I don't know if we heard any testimony with regards to noise as it relates to the use of getting these containers in and out of the site, on and off, transporting vehicles. But again, I think they've hit all the high points as it relates to the requirements for the use variance so far. Thank you.
Mr. Hyman?
Thank you. So I just want to know if you can elaborate a little bit more on this oil separator. Yes, we had concerns about the infiltration of different, fuels and different things that may leak out of the trucks and from the containers. So you're proposing a concrete pad. Could you just elaborate what this oil separator is and how it works? I don't think members of the board are necessarily familiar with it.
So basically, it's used a lot on gas stations and those kind of uses, so it's not uncommon to use them. Basically, as the storm water runs off, it will go into an oil-water separator. It allows the water to continue on, but the other materials that are lighter or heavier get stuck in the oil-water separator, and then they're sucked out and cleaned out occasionally.
Got it. So just like, if you pour oil and water, they would separate. It's not like it's
Correct.
actually, decontaminating, the
No, it's not.
water
It's
that's
not
there.
treatment.
It's just for the oils.
Correct. It's not treatment.
Got it. Then, the planner just mentioned, as far as the noise, so I think prior when it was a gravel, it would be minimal or no noise. How do we mitigate that issue with, every time there's going to be a dumpster going down, it'll give a nice bang?
Sure. So there will be, for sure. And I think that the solid fence around there will help that, and the buffering that we're proposing as well. And also, our hours are from 7 to 4 during the week. So we're not looking at weekends. So it's really just 7 to 4, which, really within normal working hours.
Okay, thank you. And then one other thing. Last time we mentioned that there was a lot of trash by that buffer. Was that taken care of? Like it was?
I believe some of it at least was cleaned up. There may be some additional debris, but obviously that would be a condition of any approval.
Thank you.
On that topic of the noise, I believe last meeting we discussed the possibility of rubber matting to maybe lessen some of the noise impact. But we could talk about that later during site plan.
Yeah. So I'm going to stick to the use variance as it was explained to me. So you mentioned historically this site or this area was used for commercial use?
Yes.
I think that was it. And you also said there's other usage, other commercial usage already here, right? Do you have examples of some of those? Like I'm just looking at the Zoom and I'm trying to, where there are other commercial uses here.
Yeah, up and down the corridor, this corridor in the PV zone, there's other commercial uses.
Yeah. I guess really what concerns me would be, what's the closest one to you guys? Could you say, I mean, this is a long, you're talking about, Route 571. Is that the corridor you mean that there's other commercial
Yeah,
uses
it's not
in
the
there?
entire corridor that I'm referring to, obviously. But along this corridor that you're looking at, there's the Minuteman further up. There's the
Like, let me help
some
you. out.
auto
The
shops
closest
as
one I
well.
see is something, step on me, carpet and flooring or something.
Correct.
Mr. Martins, could you put on the record what you're looking at if it's different than the exhibits?
It's the Google, if you go back to the first one you showed, which was the zoo,
Okay, so it is
Google.
one of the exhibits.
Yeah, there,
Okay,
yeah,
thank
right,
you.
right. So if you go down there, I think, it doesn't say it, but at the far right, I think that's the carpet and floor.
Exactly.
Place,
That-
right?
That would definitely be the nearest one
Yeah.
to us.
Right, so looking at this, that's the only one I see.
On this picture, yes.
Yes.
But there are other
So-
commercial uses.
So
along
within the
corridor.
area, yes. So that's why I was just questioning. I understand that along 571, which is huge,
Yeah.
there could be other commercial uses.
And
But
you can-
within this area, I don't,
And if, obviously, you're familiar with, we're all familiar with 571.
yeah,
There's no major commercial uses along 571. It's
Right.
not that type of zone. But there are smaller commercial uses.
Right.
You have the carpet store, you have a mechanic shop, you have, smaller commercial uses like that. There's a metal manufacturing shop.
Right.
The smaller uses, which is similar to this, which is a small use. It's not something that brings in a lot of traffic, a lot of visitors coming in, and a lot of customers, which I feel that this kind of fits in with those type of uses, where, if I was proposing a shopping center here, there's no other shopping centers in the area.
Right.
It doesn't fit. With small kind of privately owned uses like this, I don't think are out of character for the area.
right. See, because that's a catch-22, right? So the way I think about it is, one of the reasons to say approve this commercial use is because you have other commercial uses. Well, so two wrongs don't make a right. And if the zoning is to not have commercial uses, we make so many exceptions to that it becomes, because you have so many commercial uses on it now,
Well,
right? So it's like a catch-22. One of the reasons you want it is because you already have it somewhere else, but we don't want too many because it's not zoned for that.
sure.
And that's what I'm struggling with in my mind for approving this.
Well, there's a couple items. One is the site's completely cleared. Two, the bulk of the site for the permitted uses is not really suitable. And if we look at the uses that have historically been on this site, you've had contractor storage, you've had contractor material storage out here over the decades. Certainly, we all know that there's been food trucks out here for at least decades. Even when I was a kid, they were out here. So you've always had commercial uses on this site. So it's not uncommon for this site to be utilized for commercial use. I can't say that for, it's not like I can go and pick out another site somewhere and say, hey, this is just like this. There's no other site like this, quite honestly, along this corridor. Sure.
Thank you.
Certainly.
To piggyback off of Mr. Martin's question about the commercial uses, you said that several times. Were there variances ever granted for this property before?
Not that I know of.
And at the last meeting, it was indicated that the business was being run currently. It's still in operation?
Yes.
And you said that there were 18 containers. Are they on site?
No.
They're not on site.
No.
They're at different locations where they've been dropped
Yeah, I mean, basically, the way that it works is that they're not cleaned in the way that you might think where you take a power washer out and scrub these things. That doesn't happen. Basically, what happens is they get dumped in at the yard, at the recycling center or at the dump, and everything slides out, and it either goes directly out to another site or it comes back here.
So, again, I'm not a
Sure.
container.
Fire away.
So bear with my question.
Neither am I.
So that sounds great in theory for me, but what if the person that they rented it out to or, let them use had something in it that shouldn't have, and they're not being cleaned? So the concern here is, obviously, as you're well aware, is this is surrounded by residents, and there is wetlands, and I
Sure.
understand that there's a buffer, but I'm just trying to understand what do we do to protect that there won't be any damage?
Well, nothing's coming back here full. Everything's being dumped at the either trash or recycling plant.
Some type of chemical, or if they dump some type of chemical in or whatever, so my concern is any residue left in there in the container.
So that's where we got from having stone out here to go into concrete and then having the oil-water separator. So basically, those insolubles would go into the I can't speak to that, the oil-water separator. And again, that's not a treatment device, it's a holding device. So that requires regular maintenance. You go out, come out, they have a pump truck that sucks out the water, the oils out of it, and off it goes.
One of the other questions I have is about the hours. It was mentioned last time and again today that it was 7 to 4, but when one of the neighbors testified, I didn't write down which neighbor, but one of the neighbors indicated that actually there was work going on as early as 6. Are you willing to stipulate that if this was granted, if this use variance was granted, that nothing would be given before 7?
Yes.
Nothing would happen after 4?
Yes, we are 7 to 4.
And one of the other questions, and we've had this on another application as well, was about stackable containers. No stackable containers?
No, we're talking about this, again, we'd only be allowed, you have to stay under 10 feet anyway, but we're basically looking to be able to drop them and pick them up. And again, we're maxed out at 25.
And I just wanted to bring up again, it was also brought up by one of the neighbors that there was some waste that had been dumped along the line. I know you mentioned some of that's been cleaned up.
Some, I don't know if it's all been cleaned up. I'd have to, obviously, that would be part of the site plan approval. That would have to be done.
That's all I have.
I have a
Sure.
question. How often will they clean up or empty that filtering system?
So what's going to have to be done is, part of, if we get to site plan, is there'll be, filed with the application will be a operation and maintenance manual for the stormwater system. And that will spell out all the requirements for maintenance of that system. And it would be sized for the area that's draining to it and everything else. It's not sized yet, so obviously we're not at that point. But I can better answer that at that point if we get there.
Just in terms of procedure.
Sure.
This is apparently operational to some extent now. We're here only for the use variance tonight. Do you have an anticipated time for coming in for the site plan approval, since some of these issues are site plan issues?
Sure.
It is currently an operational business.
He's very anxious, so we'd be back in as soon as humanly possible.
Thanks. I want to kind of go back to the dumpsters being on site and with the wetlands there. A lot of the dumpsters are used for construction. So obviously, there's a lot of dust particles that end up in them. And when they come back to the site and they get dumped, obviously those dust particles are going to be into the air. And if it's a windy day, we have particles going potentially into these wetlands. How do we?
I don't see dust particles really making it to the site. Two reasons. One, they're dumped off-site, they're not dumped here. So they don't come back full.
Well, but
And
those
while
don't
they're-
come back clean.
And then when they're driving back, I don't see dust being able to quite honestly, survive a drive back to the site.
Okay. Second thing, you talked about a residential home not being a good alternative there. And one of your rationale reasons was the driveway would be the frontage onto 571.
That's one of the reasons. The other reason is that all the other ones front on Lakehurst Road
No,
and
I-
have a substantial buffer to Toms River Road, where this would have no buffer to
I
that.
understand, but you're still going to have a truck carrying a dumpster on its back coming out of that road onto 571.
Correct.
So, to me, a motor vehicle is a lot less impactful going onto that road than a truck carrying a container onto it. So I'm not sure I agree that a residential home is not a better alternative for the site with that rationale.
Yeah, I was going more towards the desirability of that resident, of someone moving to that house. You know, having access out on the 571 really isn't optimal. And also, obviously, having no buffer at all to 571 isn't really optimal for a single-family home as well.
Okay.
Just to add to some of the board's concerns with the cleaning, do you anticipate the dumpsters ever needing to be cleaned, and where would that occur?
They're really not clean. They're basically dumped at the recycling facility or at the town dump or county dump, and then either brought to a new site or brought back here.
But should dumpsters need cleaning in a situation, is there an off-site facility that you could take them to for proper cleaning?
I'll find that answer out.
Because we'd like the dumpsters to arrive cleaned to this particular location.
Sure.
I guess to follow up on that thought, it was affirmative testimony that they were going to be clean when they got here, so I assume that would make it an affirmative resolution that could be enforced if necessary. And if the board wants to more specifics about that, or more detail, whether now or when we get the site plan, that's fair game. Because at the end, what we don't want them doing is cleaning dumpsters on this site. So sometimes it's not saying what you're going to do, saying what you're not going to do. You're not going to clean dumpsters on this site. That's a really easily enforced condition.
I think one of the things I had brought up at the initial hearing on this was my concern about cleaning, right? And I'm sure I probably sound to some of you like I'm beating a dead horse, but we have an example on my street where the resident's home has a slanted driveway. I have some other word for it, forgive me, so I'm professional, but it's built like literally right down the driveway from the, the dumpster that dumped off, like, let's say that morning when I was leaving for work. When I got home that evening, it was built right down the driveway. So we're talking about residential areas, so my concern is the wetlands and then the residents around it. How do we make, I understand that we're 100%, but what do we do to do our best to ensure that there's nothing that's not safe getting into the ground?
Yeah, I would say if there's a condition like the dumpsters must arrive clean and they're subject to inspection by the township, and that way the burden is on the owner to make sure that they're clean.
I think the burden should be on the owner and the applicant right now to tell us how that works. Because we have no idea what was in the dumpster when it went to the dump. But it's coming here to get moved back. This is like a transfer station. So Lord knows what was in there when it went to the dump. But if it's not clean and it comes back here and someone makes a mistake and cleans it, who knows what was in it? So I think it's up to the applicant to explain to us how these are going to get here clean, and whether it's the processes or the checks and balances to make sure that that occurs.
So I talked to the owner. Basically what happens is when they go to the dump and get rid of a load, if there's anything in there, basically dirt's thrown into it and it's swept. They don't power wash or anything like that. It's basically swept back out again. At the dump. Yeah, not here. So that all occurs at the dump.
Any other questions or comments from Mr. Murphy? We're going to go ahead and open it to the public and ask questions the testimony you just heard from Mr. Murphy. At this time, if anyone is wishing to come forward, please do so.
Gilbert Harris, 782 Lakehurst Avenue, Jackson, New Jersey. My wife and I have been on that property for 25 years. They used to park trucks on that property, which I complained about. They got them off. And it's not decades after decades, as the gentleman said. That was from the previous owner before they sold it. Now, the food trucks that you're talking about, they let them park there. The previous owner did too.
I'm sorry,
With
Mr.
one truck.
Yeah, I'm sorry, just because what you're saying is not just a question, it's a nature of testimony. I'm going to ask you to raise your right hand.
Be a pleasure.
Sorry. And do you swear or affirm that the testimony you will give before this board will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. I'm sorry to interrupt.
It wasn't commercial trucks. It was just little stands that the owner evidently made money off of, renting it to them to be there. And it wasn't decades, it was only a few years to start off with. As for the drainage too, you're talking about the wetlands, you cannot tell. We have a pond back there. That's wetlands. The runoff from those things, those trailers, if it rains, there's no way in the world that they're going to get all the mess from a construction site out of those trailers. If it rains, it's going to go into the ground, pollute the pond back there, and wetlands. And the time that he's talking about of operations is like, I'll say, 5:45 in the morning, not 7. You know, it's too much controversy behind this whole plan that they're presenting. The noise is there, the hazard is there. I have my neighbors that are getting ready to have another baby. That's why they're not here. And I can't take the chance with my grandchildren around there with something that's been hazardous. You know, it's ridiculous. I would, you know, I don't understand why this hearing is even going on. You know, it's you tell me.
They have a right to make an application. That's why the hearing is going on. Anybody can make an application.
You know, but be truthful with the application. That's all.
Thank you, Mr. Harris.
How are you guys? I'm Adam Heidi. Lived in town my whole life. Just have a lot of questions about this particular variance.
Sorry, so I don't have to interrupt you, could I just ask, yes, first that, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you'll give before this board will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
And I'm sorry, could you say your last name again?
Heidi, H-A-I-D-I, Heidi, Heidi Ho, Heidi.
Thank you.
And before you
Awesome.
start talking, I don't want to interrupt you either, but I don't know what this is on tonight. I'm having a hard time hearing. If
You want me to
have
grip
somebody else,
this?
please.
Awesome. So I have a lot of questions for the board and for the applicant, the developer. So I did some preliminary research myself on this site plan. Not only is it near the wetland, it's directly on the wetland. Even worse, it's encroaching the 300-foot wetland buffer that's mandated by the state of New Jersey. Mind you, we're all aware here that state law supersedes municipal ordinances, correct? Mr. Attorney, are you aware of that? You're aware that environmental law from the department.
Mr. Hay, you guys ask questions of the witness. I mean, you can ask questions, but the
But just
the
to,
attorney
just
is
to
not
address
required
that directly, any application with this site will have to be before, we have to go before Pinelands because of the location of the site, so it would be subject to state review.
Absolutely. And you would have to make sure that the plan fits within the CMP, correct? The CMP?
It's going to comply with whatever regulations the state requires.
Okay. So you haven't submitted a letter of intent, correct? Have you guys obtained an LOI?
No, so we're here first for the use variance. If the board grants the application tonight, we will proceed with site plan and then any other outside agency approvals, which would also include the state portion.
Okay, and is it ethical to acquire a use variance when your application is contingent upon outside agency's approval?
It's nothing to do with ethics. This is normal.
Is it legal?
This is normal procedure with an application that there are outside agency approvals. There is a starting point for every application, and this happens to be the starting point for this application.
Okay, so I'm going to cite NJSA 40:55D-10.3. This is MLUL. You recently spoke about it. So an application for development shall be complete for purposes of commencing the applicable time period. In essence, an application shall not be deemed complete until all required submissions have been made relative to NJSA 40-55D-10.3. So if you need...
Mr. Haight, sorry.
What I'm saying is if he needs a letter of intent, his application's not complete.
This
So,
application,
Mr.
how
Haight,
can we even hear it?
I know that you may disagree with this procedure, but the bifurcation of an application into a use variance application to be followed by a site plan application is permitted by the law.
No, it's not. And I just gave you the statute.
Yes, I'm familiar with the statute. It is my legal opinion that it is, bifurcation is permitted under the law for a use variance application to be followed with a site plan application.
And the exception would be within
Okay,
the Pinelands, and it would be under property that's owned by the Department of Environmental Protection.
Mr. Haight,
That's the law.
Mr. Haight, if you, that is not my legal opinion, that is not my advice to the board. I think that the procedure is appropriate.
I feel like
Determination for the board is to be made on the use variance application. Having said that.
I feel like this is beyond the board's authority, respectfully. How can the board grant a use variance when the state hasn't delineated where we can and can't build?
Because the state law permits the bifurcation of an application where there's a use variance application. It allows a use variance application to be made without the site plan. The environmental considerations and the approvals by Pinelands, DEP, those are all part of the site plan application.
just
I
to
respectfully disagree with
clarify,
that.
you can
Understood.
disagree, but just so you understand, with regards to the use variance, if the use variance is granted tonight, we have to come back for site plan approval, and we also have to get those outside agency approvals. If we do not secure those outside agency approvals, the use variance is moot.
Yeah.
So it would,
Ineffective.
so that's, the purpose of it is to obtain this portion first and then proceed with all of those other applications as necessary.
I feel we're undermining the integrity of environmental law by even hearing whether we should approve or deny a use variance. I'll cite Pegleb Webb LLC versus the Pinelands Commission in 2017. A judge sided with the Pinelands Commission when the company tried to sue. Essentially, municipal boards went and granted a bunch of approvals. When it finally reached the Pinelands Commission, they said, "You guys are crazy." And even though they tried to sue them in court, the judge sided with the Pinelands Commission. So I want to remind the board that environmental law trumps our municipal ordinances. Okay? Have you guys conducted any soil tests? No. Okay. You spoke a lot about the oil separator. Have you submitted any data on how that works, any efficiencies? Are we just supposed to believe word of mouth?
No, we have a detail of a typical oil water separator, and as I indicated, if we get to the point of site plan, then I would have to give all the data on that and the sizing of that and make sure it's sized properly.
And
the
you,
maintenance of it.
is septic on site, are you proposing?
Yes.
That's crazy. So another law says a use variance relying on septic cannot lawfully be approved unless compliance with NJAC 7:9A. Based on the geographic location, you guys have a lot of environmental surveys to submit before our board can hear.
That's not the case. And I think both legal counsels agree.
Pizzo Manton Group versus Randolph, 1994. A board may not hear an incomplete application. Missing environmental reports render the filing legally deficient under 10.3. There's numerous case law that states we shouldn't even be hearing this.
So, I'm just going to say this once and then continue on for whatever time the board elects to give you. But the concept legally with the bifurcated application and why it is permitted is that if you don't get the use variance, then there's no reason to go into the site plan issues.
I hear that logic. I disagree with. I hear what you're saying. I do hear what you're saying.
Yeah. Can I just chime in, maybe?
Wait, can I say one thing? So, Mr. Heidi, remember this, so your time now is not the only time you'll have. Your time now is to address any issues with Mr. Murphy. So if you could do one thing for me, anything you specifically have for him, I'll give you a few more minutes to address that, then you'll be able to come back up at the end, okay? I just want you to keep things specific for him right now.
It has to be specific to the application, right?
Well,
Not just
specific
him.
to his testimony,
There-
the
yeah.
application, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No,
I'm not trying to be rude, I
The
swear.
application will be- I know it sounds like I'm splitting hairs, I'm not. Number one.
Because I
wanna
can't
make
break
sure-
this. I can't break this down to specifically what.
All right, well, you have a few more minutes, and then you'll be able to come back up at the end as well. I just want to make sure that everybody who has any questions, Mr. Murphy has that opportunity.
No,
Go ahead.
I feel like I got a lot of my concerns out. You know when the land was cleared, the 2.4 acres?
No. I don't have the date when it was cleared.
Okay. So you wouldn't know if there was a valid tree permit or anything?
No. It's been cleared for many years.
Okay, and then you mentioned other commercial properties along 547 or 527, almost to support your case. Could you tell me whether or not the other properties face the same geographical limitations?
No.
You couldn't, okay. Do you feel that this property is too constrained for what the applicant might be needing?
No, as I indicated, I think it's perfectly suitable for what we're proposing.
Mr. Murphy, the microphone, please, I'm sorry.
As I indicated, I believe it's suitable for what we're proposing.
Okay, and then just to go back to the oil separator, could you tell me how that works again?
Sure. So there's, obviously, water has a different buoyancy than other materials, so it's used a lot on gas stations and places where you typically have things other than water mixing with water. And basically, it separates that from the water. So water continues to flow through, and it's not a treatment device. It holds it. So it does require maintenance where you have to come out and pump it out.
Okay, and then do you have any data to prove its efficiency? Have you supplied our engineers?
No, we're not at that point. As I indicated, it'll be sized properly and as required, and all that data will be provided if we get the site plan.
Like I said, you'll have additional time at the end.
Okay. Do you know if any other commercial properties along the road utilize septic on site?
I think most of this area is septic.
Okay. Do you have any design plans for the water runoff?
No, that would become a site plan.
Any soil logs, percolation tests, permeability tests?
No, you asked if I had soil borings. No.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Height, just on the bifurcation, because I know that you like to look at the law, I recommend that you look at NJSA 40:55D-76B, subsection B.
76 what?
Subsection B.
What is that elaborate on?
On bifurcation, on the issue that we were discussing before.
4055D-76 subsection B?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, thank you for your time.
You'd have to excuse me. I have a couple of more things to ask the gentleman.
I'm sorry, Mr. Harris. Mr. Harris, you remain sworn.
Okay. One question. Why would you need an oil separator if the containers are going to be empty? Why would you need it?
So
Are you going to repair vehicles there too?
No, as we indicated, stipulated as one of the requirements is there are no vehicle repair. If you remember, originally we didn't have an oil water separator. The board had a concern of runoff, and that's why we added the oil water separator.
So you really don't know anything about that, whether, how many times it's going to be empty, or do they have to call when it's filled?
It's going to be emptied every time.
How many times? Do they have to call to get it empty? You didn't check into that? Just tell me you didn't check into that.
Every time it leaves the site, when they pick it up, it gets
You're not
emptied.
answering my question. You're dancing around.
I indicated we're going to have to size it. It's not sized yet. And have a full maintenance plan that gets filed by deed on the property on how to maintain that. No,
That's-
it's not
that's what-
sized yet.
That's why I asked.
Sure.
You're separating the water from the oil. Okay. Now, if you're not going to repair vehicles and the containers are coming back empty, why would you need it?
The board had comments at the last meeting, and in an effort to
Placate them.
address those concerns,
Placate them.
we decided that this would be a good step, and it's a stopgap. The purpose of it is to catch oils that may come out of these empty containers in the event they are, for whatever reason, there's some oil on the container itself. But as we've indicated, and as Mr. Murphy's indicated several times, these dumpsters are going to be dumped at whatever venue they go to. They may end up at a different site and not at this site, but when they come to this site, they will not have any materials within them. This is just precautionary, and the purpose of it is to address the concerns raised by the board, which is their legitimate concerns, and that's why we've included it on the plan.
It's really my concern. Now, as I say, they can get filled. That's wetlands back there. Like they said, it's 300 foot buffer, okay? I've been to wetlands on account of my property, and I know what they said and what they did to me. Now, I'm hoping they do the same thing to you. And another thing, he's fully operational back there. He was dumping soil on that property, not garbage from any other people dumping it there. And he ran it over with a truck. Nobody took any perk tests or anything, or soil tests back there when he was doing that. And I mentioned it the last time.
I didn't indicate that we've done any perk tests.
You didn't indicate that they did any soil tests too. As I said,
I have not. Correct.
he dumped loads of soil back there. And he was running it down with his truck, his vehicle. Nobody went back there to test that. I'm worried about that.
I'm not aware of anything that you're discussing.
Listen, I've seen it with my own eyes. I'm not here
I'm
lying.
not disputing it. I'm just saying I haven't seen it. I'm not aware of that. And I can tell you I've done no testing out there.
Yeah, I understand.
Forgive me for interrupting you. Did you
I told,
Sorry.
I said to the board the last time I was.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't ask that properly, sir, forgive me. I had that, that was part of my question earlier. I meant.
Yes, you
prior-
did.
You did, okay. All right. But you're willing to stipulate there will be no dumping on the property?
No.
And now, regarding their concerns, how do we make sure that whatever was done is safe, for lack of a better?
We can take a sample, if that is the fact, then we
The
can take a
horse already
sample,
left the barn.
We can take a sample and sit. If there's an issue, obviously, that has to be cleaned up. If it's just dirt, then I think it'll be left alone. Again, there's that road that goes around the site and out to the right side that goes through the buffer currently. Obviously, that's going to be all abandoned as part of this because we're going to fence the buffer line, so that won't be able to be utilized anymore.
Water finds its way to get around everything. Like I said, we have a pond back there. And water from those containers, if it rains, which is not going to be clean, it's not only going to be oil in there, it's construction material. Whether it's a soluble, anything that's hazardous. If rain hits those trailers, it will run out the trailers because they're not solidly sealed. And it can go into the wetlands and my pond back there.
So that was the concern of the board also. That's why we had stone initially. So we have concrete now.
Stone is not going to catch that.
That's why we got rid of stone. So now we have concrete. It's going to go to that. It's going to be directed to the oil water separator. So at least there's some treatment on that end before any water gets out. And then you still have the wetland buffer, which is the purpose of the buffer. That buffer
Well-
also treats before it gets in wetland.
I don't think you want to swear to that.
That's the purpose of a wetland buffer.
Yeah, I don't think you want to swear to that. Because water finds
can
its way
swear that's-
around everything.
I
They
can
could-
swear that is the purpose of a wetland buffer.
You'll have a chance to come back up at the end if you have any additional comments. Okay, I just want to see if there's anyone else who wants to come forward. But you will
Okay.
have a chance to come back up, not right now, Mr. Heidi. I mean, at the end, if you have any other testimony. No, I mean, after we have other testimony, if Mr. Alfieri has any additional witnesses. Mr. Alfieri? Just Mr. Murphy? Okay. You have a closing statement?
So,
Oh, I'm sorry, forgive me. Did you have a question? I
Yeah.
apologize.
No problem, thank you. I just want to say, if there was illegal dumping there, you're welcome to report it to the DEP and let them investigate it. Obviously, it's not up to the board, but if you saw illegal activity, DEP is a good place to report it. Another thing is, I did read up something about this 300-foot, not allowed to build anything within buffer from the water. How does that pertain to this application?
Well, I was going to ask that to Mark and Ernie, so thank you. Mark and Ernie? Because Mr. Murphy indicated, thank you, Mr. Hyman. Mr. Murphy indicated 250 feet, but I too saw something about 300 feet, so thank you for the reminder.
Correct, so
Can you
this-
help us understand?
This property, from what I'm reading, is basically 357 feet frontage, so it doesn't leave much space for anything.
There are different buffer requirements based off the type of wetlands, and ultimately, that's going to be confirmed by the DEP in the next step. So at this point, they're showing a potential layout based off the information that they have, and if it does change, then that'll be reflected in a revised site plan.
Okay, thank you. And then another thing was, if we're so concerned about the dumpsters having leakage and fluids coming out of them, possibly infiltrating the wetlands, would it be a better idea to move the actual building closer and move the containers further away from the wetlands? And, again, we're going to get more into that issue of making a structure closer to the wetlands, but it would probably be beneficial for the wetlands to move those further away.
we can certainly look at that.
I would like, if we're done, I'd like to ask a question, and really, it's a legal question for you, yes. This whole idea of bifurcation, right? So the question we have today that we're going to respond on is, are they allowed to have a commercial use on this property?
No.
Right? No,
That-
okay,
that
one
you-
more.
The question you are being asked to decide is whether they can have the proposed commercial use on this property. It is
Okay.
not a commercial
No.
use, it is this commercial use.
Okay, that's where I was going. So it has, so it is very appropriate to talk about, you know, leakage, everything we talked about, the actual usage, because it's not for just commercial usage in general, it's for this specific commercial use.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Just give us a few minutes, let us
Okay.
finish this, and then you'll be able to
I just
come
want
back
to speak
up.
with you.
I'm sorry?
Can I? Oh, okay, just give you a few minutes?
Yeah, no, you'll be able to come back, Mr. Height. It's his procedure.
I'm sorry, Mr., the question was brought up, and I don't know if we got an answer, if we did, I missed it, about relocating. Oh, okay, I was gonna say, did I not hear? Oh, no. I just didn't hear an answer, that's why I was asking.
You didn't miss it. You didn't have it.
I don't know about you, but that is so.
I'm glad you guys are saying, because I thought I was going deaf.
Well, when you didn't say anything, I'm like, well, maybe it's just me, but I saw you too, and I'm like, what was it?
I just am always the one. I'm sorry,
Oh, no,
Mr. Alfier,
Go ahead.
we were
We were talking
discussing
too.
mostly the noise level and
I
our
hear that.
difficulties in hearing.
I hear the
To-
floats
So
outside,
to that,
too.
if you can speak directly into the microphone, and that goes to everyone, we would really appreciate it. The sound quality is never good in this room, and there's some sort of additional blowing feature this evening.
So our closing remarks are essentially that this site itself, 747 Toms River Road, our client is proposing a dumpster rental and junkyard removal site. Mr. Murphy provided significant testimony as to how the site's going to operate itself, and we believe that the board could act favorably tonight based upon the fact that we do have to come back before the board for site plan approval, and we have to get Pinelands and other outside agency approvals.
Thank you, Mr. Alfier.
Thank you, Mr. Alfieri.
And I do want to point out that the site itself, the way it's sitting now, I mean, this is a great way to clean up the site, and we do want, my client does want to make sure that the site does clean itself up and does operate well.
So we're going to go ahead and open it up to the public. If you have any questions or comments you'd like to come forward at this time, please do so. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh,
Forgive me, Gina, go ahead.
Not a problem, Ms. Bradley. Just a question that I would like to be put on the record. If the board chooses to not grant this use variance tonight, what is the plans for the site which is actively being used for this use, if I'm not mistaken? Do we have a game plan on how we're gonna?
the board would not have such a plan.
Right, I was more for the
Yeah.
the applicant, I'm unable to see.
I don't have an answer to that question at this time.
I guess I have to follow up this one thing. If they get rejected, would they have to stop, cease and desist on what they're doing right now?
If they did not get the variance, then if they were conducting an activity that is not permitted in zone, that would be an unpermitted activity.
Right. Okay, and so what would be the procedure to get them to stop?
Okay,
I'm a little
that would be
confused.
outside the province of this board.
Okay, that would be like code enforcement or something?
That would be a lot like code enforcement.
Okay,
Mr. Martins,
thank
I
you.
would be happy to have a conversation with you in the zoning office regarding
I'm
our,
sure you would.
regarding our processes for that.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry, you opened it back up to the public?
Yes, I did.
Oh, okay, I'm
But
sorry, I
then
missed it.
somebody else-
So I just have a direct.
I'm just going to say for the record, Mr. Heidi again. No, you got to be sworn back
No,
before
Mr.
we
Heidi, you remain
Okay.
sworn.
So I took a quick glance at that subsection you wanted me to read, but I don't think it trumps NJSA 13:18A or 13:9B. Give me 1 second. These are just pretty much the Freshwater Wetlands Protection Acts and the Pinelands Protection Acts. This board's power doesn't supersede what is there.
100% agreed.
I can't believe that. I feel like we're putting our town at jeopardy.
I'm sorry?
I feel like we're putting our town at jeopardy when we do things like
No, no,
this.
no. Mr. Heidi, I'm not trying to be facetious. I agree with you that the state laws supersede the board. I think where we disagree, you and I, is whether those laws that you're citing come into effect on this, or have prohibit the application for a use variance before this board, separate from a site plan.
How can the board grant a use variance on property that's not theirs? It's not your jurisdiction. This isn't the board's jurisdiction.
You are.
It's the
you
Pinelands.
It is my legal opinion that you were mistaken about that.
It is the Pinelands jurisdiction. The site is within the Pinelands. Anything they want to do needs to go to the Pinelands. It's
Agreed.
within the wetlands. Anything they need to do, they want to do, they have to go to the DEP.
Agreed.
There's no reason,
Well,
maybe there is an ordinance that needs to be rewritten, but
These are really procedural matters. The DEP and the Pinelands.
it's case law.
Thank you. Again, I respect very much your industry. I disagree with your legal conclusions regarding the authority of the board on a use variance application.
I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to come forward?
Actually, can I
Nope.
just kind of,
Person.
sorry,
You can come forward, Mrs. Harris. Go ahead, Mr. Seleckia.
just kind of talk to him, in my packet, since I am new here, so I don't know if I got additional stuff, but there was a letter issued by the Pinelands Commission, and I'll read it to you, and it said, should the municipal hearing be exclusively for the purposes of seeking a variance, and if subsequent site plan approval is required, the board may act on the variance prior to the applicant receiving a certificate of filing from the Pinelands Commission. And that's right on the letter from the Pinelands.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Do you
Parvati
swear
Harris.
or affirm that the testimony you will give before this board is the truth and nothing but the truth?
It's the truth and nothing but the truth.
I'm sorry?
The truth and nothing but the truth.
Okay, thank you. And I'm sorry, Mrs.
Parvati
Harris?
Harris. I just want to follow up on something that the gentleman just said, that putting up a commercial business on that piece of property, it's going to clean the property up. I don't understand when it's mostly trees around the property and there is bushes, or what is there to clean? Is it something that we don't know? Is it environmental? What is there to clean? Another thing, my husband stated that there's pond back there. There's so many wild animals. Our property is right alongside this property that's being asked to rezone to a commercial area. There's deer, there is foxes, any kind of animals you can think of lives back of our property. I'm a gardener. I wish I could invite the board to come look at my garden. I do organic gardener because I don't want any kind of pesticide or anything to interfere with the animals. Now we want to put a commercial, operation next to our property or next to on top of wetlands. And yes, he said he's going to have the containers clean off-site and brought back to this property. Do we really, really believe that? I mean, who in their right mind will think that, he will clean those containers, and bring it back because it's wetlands? That's not going to happen. and that's my concern. And another thing, the noise. I get up at 6 o'clock to go to work. Almost every other morning, bang, bang, it's container dropping on the ground or he's picking up the container. He's fully operated, fully in business. So that is the truth. And we live right next door, we're right there. And that's what we're witnessing. Thank you.
Through the chair.
Yes.
Just to address that last point, if they are operating earlier than their statement of operations, then if they do get an approval, then they're required to keep to those times. So it would make it better for you because they wouldn't be allowed to operate prior to 7 o'clock. They would be able to enforce it.
That would mean that I have to run out of bed and maybe take a video or do something, you know?
I got you. But the point is, from a legal standpoint, there would be basis to stop it.
I was going to say something, but I think Ms. Tumalo's.
I just want to piggyback off what Mr. Hyman had stated, that their statement of operations would then be enforceable. Just for the record, our current town code offers hours of noise for construction to be 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. on the weekends, and federally recognized holidays. So any complaints outside of those dates and times can be reported to either code enforcement and/or Jackson Township Police Department.
So Mrs. Harris, what she's saying is, let's just say, for example, tomorrow morning, if you're out there 5:45, 6 o'clock, you have the right, even though there's nothing in writing here, you have the right to report something like that. Okay? Anyone that come forward, please? I knew I'd seen you, and I'm like, wait, where did she go?
I figured I'd sit. I'm sorry. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you will give before this board will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
And could you give your name, please?
Deb Jones, Jackson. I just have a couple questions, concerns. I know I don't remember which gentleman was speaking, but they said something about there's no homes that are exiting out onto Toms River Road. If I look at the map, it looks like every house exits out there. So I wasn't really sure. I missed the point of why that mattered, if people exited onto the road. But I was wondering if you could just give me a little.
I was talking about the houses that are adjacent to us. All of them go out to Lakehurst Road.
Adjacent to the property?
Yes.
Okay, because on the map, it looks like they're all going onto Toms River Road.
No,
But-
the map's up. You can see all the houses that are adjacent to us all go out to Lakehurst Road.
Okay, I'll go look at
That's
the
what
other
I was
map
referring
again.
to.
I just wanted clarification on that.
Sure.
And my other thing is, I understand people need to make a living, want a business. I get all that. I don't have anything against that. But I also think we can take as many precautions as we want. Accidents happen all the time. Most people who have lived in Jackson their whole life, we all know about Ciba-Geigy. And yes, that was intentional and dumped, but it got into our water, our land. It affected many people. We have other areas in this town where you're not on wetlands. I just don't even understand why this has to even be a question. If there's water there, maybe it's time to go to somewhere else. And I understand that's not always the easy answer because they might have the property, but when the property's purchased, you know there's water there. You know these are going to be problems. So yeah, we do come for a variance, but variances are just that. As the people who are governing our town on this, we have the right to say no to the variance. And sometimes we have to. It's not comfortable, it's not nice, you don't want to see someone go out of business, but in the end, we have to look ahead to things that accidentally happen. And stuff happens all the time. We had a tornado come through Jackson. We could have that again, and those dumpsters could be ripped apart. Then what? We can't say, oh, we put all this in place, because we didn't know that was going to happen, but it happens. So I just would like you guys to think about everything. Like, doesn't matter how much you line up, things happen, and it's our water, it's our ponds. It's the things that have been in this town forever and for the people who have lived in this town forever. So, thank you.
I'm just one thing, if I could, just to follow up. I think this is specific for Adam. I think you missed the beginning here. On the new agenda, there's a link at the very end, and it works. Okay, so what was just quoted here, you should have access to all of that, right? So you don't have to do an Oprah request or anything like that. It's all available on that website. Okay, thank you. I just wanted to make sure that was clear.
Anyone, excuse me, anyone else wishing to come forward? Seeing no one else come forward, we're gonna go ahead and close public session. Board, it's up first, it is up to us for discussion, excuse me.
If I may, just.
Ms. Cipriani.
Yeah, so just, there are two things I want to go through. One, I want to take through the conditions that have been discussed one more time, and then also just the standards for this use variance. So the conditions were, again, no maintenance of trucks on site, no washing or cleaning of dumpsters or containers on site. Whoops, sorry, I clearly don't know how to operate my own computer. Dumpsters to be clean when arrive on site, subject to inspection, no welding on site, containers may not be stacked, maximum of 25 containers, buffer to be fully fenced with a solid fence and landscaping, containers to be on a concrete pad with a runoff to go to a detention basin with an oil separator, clean up, the buffer is required to be cleaned. There was a discussion that there still may be debris and there. Hours to 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. only, no dumping on property, and there was a representation that soil samples would be taken. As the board knows, for use variance, and Mr. Murphy did discuss these standards in his testimony. The applicant has the burden of demonstrating the positive and negative criterion, and also special reasons. They have to demonstrate that the proposed use carries out the purposes of zoning as listed in the MLUL, or they also have to show that the refusal to allow the project would impose an undue hardship on the applicant. Mr. Murphy made reference to both of those standards. The applicant must also demonstrate that the requested relief can be granted without substantial detriment to the public good, and that the proposed use will not have a negative impact on the adjacent properties, will not cause such damage to the character of the neighborhood as to constitute a substantial detriment to the public good. The applicant must also demonstrate the requested relief will not impair the intent and purpose of the zone plan and zoning ordinance. Mr. Murphy made reference to the master plan. And they also need to show, I think that that's it. So I just want to remind the board of those standards.
Board, it's up first, I can't speak now either. It is up to us for discussion. Mr. Trimmer? My question is, do you see the wetlands in front? Yes or no? I'm not really sure. Is there a wetlands encroachment? We never looked
Okay,
at it.
so we do not know the encroachment now. We would not know if there's an encroachment until the site plan application. Correct. This is the use variance only, whether or not this use with these conditions could be permitted, assuming that there were as an acceptable site plan and that that site plan also received the outside agency approvals that have been discussed.
Mr. Martins?
So I guess this is more of an explanation of what my vote's going to be. Off the bat, the idea of putting a commercial use in this area, I'm a little against that, but it does depend on what you're trying to put there, right? I agree with you, there's at least one commercial use that I can see. But looking at this type of commercial use, I don't see any construction sites, construction companies, big truck things in that area. In addition, we've heard from the residents, so I'm not sure you can prove that this will have no impact to, or beneficial to the residents there. So for those reasons and some others, when time comes, I think my vote's going to be no.
Thank you. I would tend to agree with Mr. Martins for a number of reasons, not particularly for the commercial use necessarily. For the reasons the applicant stated, there could be a positive reason to put a commercial use there. This specific type of use, I do not believe meets the positive and negative criteria. I think the proximity to the wetlands in the pinelands is not particularly suitable for such a operation, and it may affect the neighbors around it. And I don't believe that it would be specifically fit the character of the neighborhood. I'm also concerned with the fact that Toms River Road is a quicker paced road, and you're going to be having large trucks which take a little bit more time to accelerate and deaccelerate to get in and out of the site. So I don't believe it's particularly suitable.
I'm going to piggyback off of what Mr. Martins and Mr. Hyman said. And for that reason, I'll make a motion to deny the variance. And I was, again, piggyback off of what both gentlemen said. Again, not necessarily any commercial, but this specific commercial. When we talk about positive and negative, I think this is, for me anyway, is a clear example where I don't see a positive to the residents in this area. Again, I don't think it's suitable to that neighborhood. We talk about negatives. I have a major concern about the cleaning. I understand that they're dumped at the county dump and they'll throw dirt in it. My concern, the water, we're talking about an area that has wells. I wouldn't want that to be my neighbor. There's just too many different things. You're talking about different forms of wildlife. You're talking about water. So for me, I don't see where the criteria has been met. So for that reason, I'd make a motion to deny the application. Is there, before we move forward, are there anyone else who would like to make a comment? So we have a motion and a second to deny. So if you vote yes, we are denying the application. Roll call, please, Kathleen.
Mr. Hyman?
Yes.
Mr. Martins?
Yes.
Ms. Rosal?
Yes.
Mr. Tremor? Yes. Ms. Cusano?
Yes.
Mr. Selecchia?
I'm just going to make my comment now before I vote. I agree with everyone on this board. I also look at this as, with it being in the Pineland Village, our town was very explicit as to what goes into that area. And this use, just, I can't get to it. So my vote is yes.
Ms. Bradley?
Yes.
The application is denied.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. We do appreciate your time tonight. Have a good evening.
You're the chair.
We're going to move on to applicant number 2, Frederick Weingart, the third home occupation variance, but it is 8:38. We're going to take a break until 8:50.
Boy, I second that.
I just want to say thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Patients, we're going to call the meeting back to order. This is applicant number 2, Frederick Weingart III, home occupation variance 3503. Do me a favor, please talk, because this noise behind us is...
No, it is not.
Gina, can you try one of the other microphones, please? Oh, okay.
Now?
Yeah.
That sounds better, right? 7 years of college, and I finally figured it out. Good evening, Madam Chair. My name is Michael Paxton. I'm here on behalf of the applicant, Frederick Weingart. We're here for his conditional use application. I have with me tonight Walter Hopkin, our engineer. Fred Weingart also will testify on his regarding his application, and John Tequina, our professional planner. First, I'd like to present Mr. Hopkin.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you will give before this board will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
And I'm sorry, could you state your name and your credentials for the record, please?
Sure. Walter Hopkin, Hopkin. I'm a licensed professional engineer in states of New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, Delaware, and Maryland. I have a Bachelor of Science from Drexel University. I've had the pleasure of testifying before both this board and your planning board previously and been accepted as an expert.
Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, sorry. Mr. Hopkins, this board accepts your credentials.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
And I'm sorry, Mr. Hopkins, just before you go, there's just something I wanted to place on the record. I believe Mr. Weingart is a member of the Township's Planning Board, is that correct? And our planner, Mr. Peters, also serves as the engineer for, as the planner for the planning board. I had reviewed it. There is no conflict in the matter. Mr. Weingart had not voted on Mr. Peters' appointment, but I did want to place that on the record.
Thank you.
So I'm going to orient the board to the site, indicate what's proposed. This is also a bifurcated application, so as far as engineering and site improvements, you'll see that there's really not much to speak about, but I'll take you through it. So the site is a 1.92 acre site. It's on the east side of Cassville Road, just north of that intersection of Freehold, Prineville, Thompson Bridge intersection. It's also known as 183 Cassville Road, block 11403, lot 39, located in your R1 zone. The surrounding uses are all single-family residential, and the zoning around there is also R1. Again, this is a bifurcated application. We're here tonight before you just for the use, but I'll describe to you what's proposed. There's an existing approximately 800 square foot, one-story, single-family home. What's on the projection is a color-rendered version of the site plan prepared by our office, dated 10/22/25. So the home is the building in the back, the largest building in the back. There are two garages that you'll see also in like a light brown or orange. Those are both detached and separate from the home. There's a concrete pad around the one garage, which is located in the central portion of the site. These are all existing structures that have been there for a long time. I believe the applicant will testify that they've owned the home for approximately 8 years, the property for approximately 8 years, and all of these structures were on the property when he purchased it. There is a milling and gravel driveway that leads up to the site, opens up to a parking area where the trailers will be stored, then continues back to the home and the detached garage towards the rear. The house is served by a well and a septic system. There are no proposed improvements before you this evening. The lines that you see looking like parking lines are really just to demonstrate the ability for trailers, and Mr. Weingart will explain a little bit more about the trailers that are being requested to be allowed to be parked there for future sale. So there's no improvements. The applicant parks his personal vehicles in the back. You'll see there's 3 parking spaces that are shown there to show compliance with the residential site improvement standards, well exceeds the requirements for the home. There are 21 trailer spaces located in the central portion of the site, with 2 reserved for customers. Again, Mr. Weingart will get into the operations and the infrequency of customers actually occurring at the site. Refuse is handled by a private hauler. There's a small 4-yard dumpster that is situated on the concrete pad in front of the garage in the central part of the site. There's no signage existing or proposed. There's no lighting existing or proposed with this operation. You'll hear later that simply the hours of operation will be restricted, and quite frankly, this is by appointment only. He won't take people to see the trailers if it's dark out. This is part of his requirements, and also just the surrounding uses are residential, and it just wouldn't be appropriate to light this site. There are minor bits of relief that are required from your ordinance, variances and waivers. We do have a professional planner that will go into a little bit more detail, but just to kind of frame it out for the board and its professionals, the lot width is 150 feet is required by your ordinance. 149.69 exists, so that's a small de minimis exception from your ordinance. It exists and cannot be remedied. Both of your professionals questioned the height of whether we comply. I can testify before you this evening that the home and both the garages comply with the respective ordinances. The principal structure of the home has a maximum height of 35 feet and 2 or 2.5 stories. It's only a 1-story and approximately 20 feet high. And the garages, your ordinance permits 25 feet in height, and both of those are below 20 feet. Your ordinance requires either 18 or 24 feet for a driveway width. For a parking lot, the 11 feet, it's approximately 11 feet, maybe it narrows down a bit below that, exists. It functions today, so we would request relief from that. Adding to it would just add to impervious, in my opinion, unnecessarily. Your ordinance also requires curbing for parking areas. Again, this is really a use that we're trying to fit with the surrounding other uses, and just feel that curbing would kind of channel the stormwater and make it inappropriate for this type of use. You'll hear a little bit more about buffering. The trailer storage is at least 150 feet from the road. You can see the substantial amount of trees that are between the parking and the road. There is a neighbor, actually, that we spoke to. I don't know if you saw us before. He sits to the south, which would be to the bottom portion of the site. He requested that a privacy fence be installed along the property line, and the applicant has agreed to meet with him, decide where exactly that would go, but that's something that we would add to the plans. In fact, that would be the only improvement that would be shown on the plans, and we would agree to comply with that. Lighting, your ordinance requires that parking lots be lit, but again, we're requesting relief from that due to the proposed use and the surrounding uses. And also, I think finally, your ordinance requires curbing and sidewalk along all roads. Again, we would just request that be either waived or that the contribution be contemplated for that because there's no curb or sidewalk along Cassville Road in this location. I tried to extract the key points from your professionals' letters, but I'm sure there might be a few that they might want me to extrapolate upon. I'd be happy to do that or take any questions from the board.
Mr. Romar?
Yes, thank you. Can you just please confirm the proposed trailers? What are the dimensions? What do they look like? What are they used for?
I'd prefer to leave that to the applicant. I've seen them, I know what they are, but it's his business, and I'd rather him answer that if you don't mind.
Okay. And in your opinion, can the site properly accommodate the proposed use as shown on the plan?
I believe so. From an engineering standpoint, you're going to also hear a planner's opinion. And having been in the audience during the previous application, I did neglect to indicate that there are no wetlands or watercourses on or near the property.
And just want to reiterate, this applicant is seeking use variance approval only at this time. And should the application be approved for use, they will be back for a formal site plan.
We, of course, would agree with that.
Mr. Peters?
I have nothing from Mr. Hopkin, thank you.
Any questions for Mr. Hopkins? Okay, so to call your next.
Thank you.
Do you want to see if there's any questions?
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm going to open it to the public if there's any questions or comments regarding what Mr. Hopkins just shared.
How you folks doing? I'm Anthony Nappi. I own 177 Caterpillar Freehold Road, and I'm the
sorry,
property
Mr.
to the
Nappi,
south.
no, you were here. Could you raise your hand, please?
Yep.
Do you swear that or affirm that the testimony you'll give before this board will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Like you said, I spoke to him earlier. My only concern was a possibility of a privacy fence, just so, any customers that do come. He's got a little thing going there now. It's never been a problem. He's always been a great neighbor. We have no issues with you guys proceeding or approving this for him, except for the fence. That's all I got
Thank
to
you
say.
so much for coming forward.
Yep.
We appreciate that.
Thank you.
Anyone else wish to come forward at this time? Seeing no one else coming forward, we're going to go ahead and close public session. Your next witness, please. Next
Thank you.
expert.
Thank you. My next witness would be the applicant himself, Frederick Weingart.
Sorry, do you swear or affirm the testimony you give before this board will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
And I'm sorry, could you state your name, please?
Yeah, Frederick Weingart.
Mr. Weingart, how long have you owned this particular property?
8 years.
And who do you reside with there?
It's just me.
Okay. No one else on the property?
No.
Can you tell me, what was the condition of the property when you bought it?
So the house had burnt down. It was sitting vacant for about 10 years. Lots of overgrowth. Some of the trees were damaged during the fire.
I'm sorry, Mr., we're having trouble
I'm
hearing
sorry.
you, if you could.
Lots of overgrowth, damaged trees from the fire. And the house had been sitting there burnt down for 10 years. It was just vacant.
And can you tell us what improvements you've made to the property since you bought it?
Yeah, we got rid of the old burnt down house, rebuilt a brand new one, painted, shingled, and sided the existing garages, planted about 100 evergreen trees along the perimeter.
Okay, and currently, can you describe the business you're operating there?
Yeah, it's a trailer sales business, like buy and resell.
And as you heard, there was a question before. Can you describe these trailers? What do you mean by that?
Yeah, enclosed trailers and dump trailers, anywhere from as small as 8 feet up into 24 feet long.
And what would be the height of these trailers?
Maximum height is probably 9 feet from the ground.
And can you describe for the board what you actually do with these trailers? How do you, when you get them in, what do you do with them?
Right. So as far as minor on-site repairs would be like removing vinyl decals, sheet metal patchwork, interior plywood work, electrical rewiring lights, changing light bulbs.
You do anything like oil changes or painting of the vehicles?
No.
Do you operate any heavy machinery with regard to the work you do on these?
There is a skid steer on site to move the trailers around.
And does that create any noise when you move these around with that machine?
starts up, you can hear the engine start up, but
Okay.
No, it's very hard to hear. I'm sorry. Yell if you
I'm
have
sorry.
to. It's okay.
it keeps falling down. It won't stay up.
Okay, so you don't do any major repairs
No,
on
no,
these?
no welding, no painting, nothing like that.
Now,
See what happens. Okay.
okay, and remember, voice up.
Yeah.
Do you have any employees?
No.
Do you plan on having any employees?
No.
What are the hours of operation that you work on this site?
That I work on the site, just daylight hours.
Is it 9 to 5?
I forget what we had put in the,
Well, you provided a supplemental statement of operations to the board. You indicated 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., 7
Yes.
days a week.
yes,
And is the site open to the public?
no, appointment only.
Yeah, well, how do you market these trailers?
It's all online marketing.
Okay, and if someone was interested in buying one, what would they need to do?
They'd have to schedule an appointment. They can't just show up.
And on average, how many people do you have come to the site per week?
1 to 2 on average.
How many of these trailers, on average, do you have on the site at any one time?
Usually between 10 and 20.
And how long do they stay on site typically?
Until they sell. It's all different times.
Okay. Now, do you have any type of waiting room or anything like that to accommodate the people who are coming to buy these trailers?
No.
Do you, and there are some questions that I'm going to ask you regarding the ordinance. Do you use firearms in any way
No.
in the course of this business? Is this the only business that you conduct on the property?
Yes.
Do you have any plans on constructing any other buildings on the property?
No.
Have you made any alterations to the dwelling, to the house that you live in to accommodate this property?
No.
And have you gotten any complaints from any of your neighbors during the 8 years that you've lived there regarding your business?
No.
And again, the work that's done on these trailers are minor cosmetic repair?
Yes.
Regarding your lighting, as Mr. Hopkin indicated, presently you don't have any, correct?
Correct.
And do you plan on installing any lighting?
No.
What happens when, as this weekend, we turn the clocks back? When it gets dark out earlier, does that influence your hours of operation?
Appointment only when it's light out. I mean, they have to be able to see the trailers to buy them, so
And how about the work you do on them?
just during daylight hours.
Do you have currently any signage on the property?
No.
Are you proposing to have any signage installed?
No.
And you heard Mr. Hopkin discuss the fact that you were able to speak with your neighbor. Are you amenable to, within the confines of the ordinance, install a privacy fence as he requested?
Yes.
And you'll work with him on that?
Yes.
I have no further questions at this time.
Can you just tell us what the trailers are used for? Is it like a landscaping trailer that's,
Some of them are landscaping trailers, some of them are dump trailers.
Yeah.
Mr. Martins?
Yep. Mr. Pack, those were great questions.
Thank you.
That covered a lot of stuff that I had questions on. That was great. So these are empty,
Yes.
right? Because you're looking to sell. You buy them,
Yes.
Right? If they're used, do you have any new ones on there, or they're all just used, you fix them up and
I have
sell
one
them?
on there that's maybe a year old, 6 months old, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
okay. But, right. Okay. But they're not like really old where they're all rusty
No,
or
they're
beat up and stuff.
presentable,
Who are you
yes.
going to sell that to, right?
Presentable, yeah.
Yeah, presentable. Okay. And again, they're empty.
Yes.
They might have had construction stuff in there before. Who knows what they had in there before? It doesn't matter.
Right.
You've
Yes.
cleaned them. They're empty. There's nothing, runoffs and things like that. We
No,
don't need
no,
to worry about
nothing
any
like
of that. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
From a security perspective, so I guess a trailer is a hard thing to steal. Would you ever consider a gate in the front so that people can't just?
There is a gate that was there when I moved in at the entrance. It's
Yeah.
about maybe 30 yards down the driveway.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And then another just superfluous question. So today, that roadway, I'll call it, to 571 is not there, right? Or is it something smaller? Like, when I
confused
look
what-
at it, I can't, how do you get out? How do you get to 571 today? Is there a little, dirt road or something?
I'm confused.
Or a long driveway? So from the house, the residential home,
Yeah.
right, to 571?
Excuse me,
How do you
maybe
get
I
out?
can shed some light.
Yeah.
That's already existing. That's not a proposed roadway. It's approximately 11 feet, if I'm correct, from Mr. Hopkins' testimony, approximately 11 feet wide, and that is the ingress and egress to the property.
And it's, okay, got it. That's not new. Okay, that was my confusion. Okay, that's all I wanted. Thank you.
Mr. Trimmer?
Last month, I went to his property. I actually know the property. I was fire chief when the place burned.
Oh,
years
okay.
ago. And it was shambles. So even with trailers, if somebody thought that was bad, it looks 100% better than it did 18 years ago, like whatever it was. But half a dozen times I went there, yes, the man's working, no one's home. It's hard.
Better?
But either way, it's not a mess.
I thought I'd never hear this.
Test, test. Would you like to use this microphone?
Oops.
Just for the record, I quarterly harass Anthony with my computer. Like I said, I've been there a bunch of times. The man's working. It's not a mess. It was a mess in the past. I mean, many years ago, not many, 7, 8 years ago, before I was on any boards, I actually went there and almost bought a trailer off the man. And it took several tries to get him there, because I'm just saying, it's not a high traffic. You can't see it from the street, and to me, it's not a problem. It just is what it is. Sorry.
Thank you. Mr. Slecchia?
Okay, I'm going to have an interesting question.
All right.
Since it's a home occupation, and Jackson Township was just reassessed, was there any changes to your property tax as a result of this home occupation?
I don't.
Yeah, and that's generally not within the.
But that's the benefit to me. That's a benefit. But it's a home occupation.
Yeah. It's not a question of whether it be home occupation, it's just a question of the rateable aspect.
I'm not asking if it's rateable, okay.
Sorry.
I don't have any questions. Any other questions, Mr. Weingart? Mr. Peters?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Weingart, thank you for your testimony. I'm just going to ask you a few questions so we can get some guidelines on the record. Mr. Paxton, please let me know if these are things that we can agree to or put as a condition in any affirmative resolution. Is there currently any access out the back to Crescent?
No,
Are you proposing any?
I don't think it's possible.
Who knows who owns the property back there? If you
Right.
might own it one day, just for the purposes of this application, you're not proposing any access
No,
to the non-county road?
no.
Thank you. Trying to find a phrase or a term with regards to the usability of the trailers. Would we call them roadworthy? Would we call them registered or licensed? What would, in your mind, or Mr. Paxton, from a legal representation perspective, how would you call them not junk? Something that says he's going to bring in something that is going to go out and go back on the road.
Well, I think the nature of the, I want to call it an item itself, they're not motorized, correct? They're bought, as he testified, in fairly good shape for the main purpose of selling them. They're not, it's not a junkyard. It's not a situation where things are being compiled and he's selling them for scrap. They're there to be turned around as quickly as possible and get off-site. So these, in effect, are pieces of equipment he's getting in, if you want to call them equipment, a vehicle. I don't like to call them a vehicle only because they're not motorized. But in no way would I categorize these as junk, because they are viable things that he can sell.
I want to make sure that there's some sort of threshold about what comes in and what goes out.
I would think, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. You don't buy any of these trailers just to use them for parts, correct? No. And it's not your intention to ever do that, correct?
No.
It's your intention that they would be, as you talked about, have minor cosmetic repair, the repairs you indicated, and then turn around and sell them.
Correct.
So you wouldn't be storing any just to cannibalize it for other ones?
No.
Thank you for your assistance with that. Well, I know we don't know how long a vehicle can stay on the site because it may need a part or something like that. What would be the upset limit? What would in your mind constitute long-term storage? In other words, someone decides, well, I'm working on a project and it's not going to work over the winter, so I'm going to take half a dozen trailers and store them at your site for the winter. What would constitute, what do you think the longest a piece of equipment would be on the site? In other words, if you're saying you're not using this to store other people's trailers for extended periods of time, what would be a reasonable time that vehicles would be on site for repairs?
If I could just qualify that, though, are you planning on using any of this site, or have you used any of the site to allow other people to store their trailers for any length of
No.
time? I'm sorry.
No.
So
Perfect, thank you. That's all I have. Remember, sometimes, to my board members, it's not what you do, it's what you're not going to do. So sometimes you just want to know what they're not going to do. They're not going to let people come in and put half a dozen trailers there for 6 months. So I apologize if sounds like I'm sandbagging Mr. Weingart. I'm not. I'm just trying to make sure that there's a record of, he's saying what he's going to do, but let's just also make sure we're not going to get there. So thank you for your time.
Any additional questions or comments from Mr. Weingart?
I
Mr.
just
Martins?
I have one that you just reminded me of. So if I go to buy one of these trailers, are you guaranteeing that they will be roadworthy, I can put them on the road, I can get them registered?
Yeah, I mean, anybody
Right.
could register anything with a title, so.
Right, because a trailer, you have
But
to
yeah.
register, just like a motor vehicle,
Yeah.
even though it doesn't have it, you have to register it. But it
Right.
has to be in decent condition, obviously,
Yeah,
right?
I picked them
So-
up and drive them back to the property, so They've been on the road.
Right. You even get a little license plate specifically for that trailer. And you're guaranteeing that that trailer will, if I buy it, I'll be able to register it,
Yes.
no problems, right?
Yes.
Okay. That helps me with the idea of it's not a piece of junk, right? Because I wouldn't be able to register a piece of junk. So, okay, thank you.
Yep.
Good, Chair.
Yes, Mr. Hyman.
So just to clarify, I just want to make sure that there was a stipulation that there will be no exterior, or not exterior, but outside rental space on the property, correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. And then, just to classify this, I just want to make sure that this is not considered a dealership, that you don't have a car dealer's license requirement, and that it's not going to become vehicles that are going to be modified and,
No.
okay, thank you.
Yep.
Any additional questions or comments? Oh, Ms. Cipriani?
I'm sorry, and that, it may have been part of Mr. Hopkins' testimony and I missed it. What is the maximum number of trailers? that
We're
you're-
proposing 21.
Any other questions or comments, Mr. Weingart? Okay. I'm going to go ahead and open it to the public. If anyone else wishes, if anyone, wishes to come forward and question him at this time. Seeing no one come forward, I'm going to go ahead and close public session.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll call my final witness, John Tequina.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you'll give before this board will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And could you state your name again and your credentials?
John Tykina, T as in Thomas, A-I, K as in Kelly, I-N as in Nicholas A. I'm a licensed planner in the state of New Jersey, have been since I completed my studies at Rutgers University in 1992. Spent the last 33 years doing this, testifying before planning and zoning boards across the state and around the country. On behalf of applicants just like this, I was last here, I believe, in June. It's nice to be back.
And this board accepts your credentials.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mr. Tequina, we've gotten a report from Remington and Vernick Engineers. Can you address some of the concerns raised and also discuss the reasons that this application can be granted within the confines of the ordinance and the municipal land use law?
Certainly. I think if I just go with my affirmative, I'll get there, and if I don't, Mr. Peters will tell me what I missed. So we are here for a D3 conditional use variance, along with some site plan waivers. A D3 variance is a little, it's still a D, so we do need 5 out of 7 votes, but it is a little less stringent in terms of the criteria than you're used to with your typical use variance for something that is not permitted in the district. So as a home occupation, this is a permitted use as long as we comply with all of the conditions. Unfortunately, we only comply with 11 of the 12. So we don't have any employees that aren't residents. We don't have any external signage that's beyond the limits. We don't have any signage at all. We won't have any audible noise. We're not going to adversely impact adjacent property owners, and you heard from our adjacent property owner that they haven't had any issues in a long time. We won't require any alterations. We won't involve construction features that would change the fire rating of the structure. We're not going to exceed the maximum number of occupants. Our resident employee parking is not going to interfere with any on-street parking. We won't have any firearms, and there will not be any more than one home occupation permitted on the property. The one that we don't comply with is that the home occupation be conducted entirely within the dwelling or an accessory building. And again, the unique nature of this very niche, really boutique sales operation for small trailers is one that isn't lent to be conducted indoors. So that's why we can't comply. But we have to show, the standard is, can we show that despite the failure to meet this condition, do we still believe that the property remains appropriate? So And then we'll obviously, of course, with all your relief, as you know, we then need to show we advance the purposes of zoning and that we satisfy the negative criteria. So in terms of the site remaining appropriate, the site is, it's a new R1 district with the 1 acre required. We're almost twice that. The business operates out of an accessory structure that has existed on the property for some time with a millings parking lot that surrounds it. It is substantially back from the street, over 150 feet. So again, it's pretty well buffered that way. The applicant has agreed to provide an additional privacy fence to make sure that we are in harmony with our neighbor. We don't believe we need any signage. Again, it's a very niche business here that is by appointment only. So again, it's appointments. You give the address, they put it in their GPS and get there the same way that we all got there. We went and looked at the property. So it's a very low impact use. So again, we think that it remains appropriate to have the property of this nature. In terms of the waivers that we seek, the standard for the board is really three-pronged. One is that it's within the board's purview in your site plan approval. So the waivers that we seek for not having curbs and sidewalks, for not having curbs in the parking lot, for not having lighting, they're all things that are appropriate to be considered by the board as part of your site plan approval. And the requests are reasonable within the context of this existing use in the R1 zone that, again, have a lower impact type of construction, lower impact type of improvements. So we believe they are very appropriate and reasonable. And then finally, that strict compliance would be a bit of a hardship on the applicant. Really would result in unnecessary expense and improvement that would, potentially, be more disruptive than leaving the existing improvements in place. So we believe that the board can make the appropriate findings for the waivers as well. In terms of our, so again, we believe that we remain appropriate because it's centered in the middle of the property. We have good buffers around us. We're going to provide an additional fence. We have the residents in the far back of the property, and we think that everything remains as is for this very low impact use, and it would be appropriate. In terms of the purposes of the land use law, I'd submit to you that there are two: to provide for sufficient space in appropriate locations for a variety of uses, both public and private, in accordance with their respective environmental requirements, and M, to consider the various procedures affecting land development with the view towards lessening the cost of that development and to the more efficient use of the land. So we believe by providing this use on this existing site, continuing to use it in this manner, is a more efficient use of the land. We think there is sufficient space for it on this double-sized R1 lot, if you will, and that it can be done without any detriment to the surroundings in the area. In terms of our negative criteria, again, twofold. We're not going to have any substantial detriment to public good. We don't believe we're going to impact our neighbors in any way. The most important things when you're talking about your neighbors are light and noise, and that's one of the reasons we don't want any lights. Mr. Weingart has been very happy to say, I'm going to operate during daylight hours. When daylight hours get shorter, I'm going to operate shorter. That's entirely appropriate, and I think that's being very mindful of his neighbors to be there. Has a small skid steer on the property to be able to move the trailers around a little bit. Again, very low impact, nothing that needs to be overdone. So again, that we keep those neighborhood impacts to a minimum. The applicant, of course, with all your approvals, is willing to abide by any reasonable conditions the board may impose. And it's appropriate, and that's one of the things that you can find is that it's appropriate to grant an approval to provide for those reasonable conditions. And as we said, one of them would be provision of a fence in working with our neighbor. Finally, in terms of the zone plan and the master plan, Township just recently adopted a new master plan in 2025, and some of the goals that we believe we're advancing are to achieve a pattern mix of land uses that provides for various planning objectives, including quality residential neighborhoods, economic development of the community, and the creation of a livable and desirable community, to provide for limited appropriate non-residential development, including but not limited to neighborhood business, professional office, and uses in residential zones to protect the existing character of those neighborhoods, and to encourage appropriate light industrial and commercial uses. Again, I don't think we go that far. I think this is a very low impact, niche, almost boutique home occupation that would be appropriate on the site. There's no purpose and intent to your R1 zone. Again, the uses that are permitted there are single-family homes, community residences, and of course, religious institutions in accordance with your religious institution ordinance that was recently adopted. This is all, again, a little more impact than a pure single-family home, but certainly less impactful than other things permitted in the district. And we believe that even though we don't meet that one condition of providing for an internal home occupation, that the site remains appropriate. So for those reasons, I believe the board has the ability to grant the approval, and I'm available for your questions. What did I miss?
Mr. Romar?
Yes, I just want to clarify, can the board solely vote on the use variance and not vote on the design waivers at this time and handle those later during site plan?
Yes.
And is that what the application is? I just want to clarify. Because there was some testimony on whether there was, are you seeking design waivers at this time, or you're intending to?
No, I would say that would be appropriate for the site plan application.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Peters?
Well, that was the toughest one. I was awake when Mr. Tykina started, and he said site plan waiver, and I was like, I had to go through all my notes. And so thank you for clarifying that, Mr. Paxton. As it relates to the proofs that Mr. Tykina put on the record, we take no exception to that as it relates to the request for a D3 conditional use variance. The applicant, the applicant and Mr. Tykina went through through testimony, the 12 standards for a home occupation. So I don't think anything was missed there. Our report and Mr. Rohmeyer's report do discuss, because waivers were requested, some of the issues that can be brought up at site plan, but since we're only doing the use variance, I'll stop at the point where I say that I don't take any exception to the planner's testimony that was given this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Tequina? Nope. Mr. Hyman?
Just want to clarify, due to the home occupation, how are we looking at this, the fact that it's being based out of the secondary structure?
Being based out of the secondary structure is actually specifically permitted by our home occupation ordinance. What is not permitted is for the use to be outside of the structure. And so as a trailer sales, unless we're going to build a pole barn and park the trailers inside the pole barn, we wouldn't be able to comply with this niche use. So that's the relief that we're seeking. We're saying the site remains appropriate even though the trailers are going to be parked outside, not in a building.
Thank you for the clarification.
Mr. Hyman, for the record,
Yes.
home occupation in subsection 244-121, item number 3 says the occupation shall be conducted entirely within the dwelling or within an accessory building or buildings. So he's not building a garage to back them into, he's working on them out of doors.
Got it.
That's-
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
I have a question.
Sure.
So if, let's say, years from now, so is this, if we grant this variance, is it specific for the property? So if, let's say, someone else, he sells it and then they use it for something like selling trailers in like another way, like, I don't know. if
It's interesting because we didn't have a C variance, so I didn't get to do my whole this particular property shtick, but any variance would go to this specific property, no others, carries no precedence to any other property. Everybody has to make their own
If he
proofs.
sold the property to someone else,
That use,
variance-
this specific use
Right.
could continue and be sold, but it is restricted to trailer sales only between 8 and 24 feet long, no higher than 9 feet tall. So again, this is the definition of a niche sales item. He's selling one thing, trailers that are, no bigger than a bread box.
So you remember my comments about you tell us what you're doing, you also tell us what you're not doing? So we sort of put a fence in, we pen it, put a pen around it, so that the zoning officer, in the future, when he sells it to someone generationally, comes in and says, well, I'm going to fix motorbikes. The zoning officer says, no, 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 you got it for this. Come back and talk to us about motorbikes. So that's the good homework that this board does, and leaving a good record for the zoning office for future applications.
And also,
And-
it remains a home occupation, so the home would have to remain occupied by the person who was operating the business.
And if I could, that would also
exactly
apply
right.
to my client himself. If he wanted to expand what he wants to do, he'd have to come back before this board. He's confined by what this board would approve.
Any other questions or comments for Mr. Tequina? I'm going to go ahead and open it to the public. Anyone wishing to come forward and discuss any of the issues that Mr. Tequina just discussed? No? I think you got one. Ish.
Jones, you were,
I got it to work.
you were sworn previously, you were
Yep,
made sworn.
I'm still Deb Jones. I just have a question, and not so much for this particular person, but for what it opens up around the property. He said he's not a dealer. He's selling trailers. It's a niche business. What does it fall under? Because unless you're only selling one trailer or two trailers a year, don't you need a dealer license?
That was not the testimony that the applicant gave, that he gave you to do this without a dealer. And again, it's specific to, as you said, no more than 21 trailers at a time on the property. They're all owned by him. There's no outside storage of anybody else's trailers. And again, they're between 8 and 24 feet long. They're going to fall at 9 feet. It's, he's put himself in a pretty good.
I'm not questioning that. I'm questioning when they get sold. Because if you're selling, like if I'm just going to sell my car, I'm not a dealer. If I'm going to sell a few cars in a year's time, I'm pretty sure I have to get a dealer license. So that's where I'm just a little confused, because it's either a business or it's not, and it might not be a problem right now for this particular property, this particular business, but other people coming in, we're setting a precedence, and we have to be able to say, no, this is the clear cut, and he only sells X amount a year, so he doesn't need a dealer license. Like, there has to be something, wouldn't there?
Well, first of all, it is specific to this property, this applicant.
I'm aware.
So there's no precedent anywhere else.
I'm talking about precedent around other people coming into the town to open
They
businesses.
all have to make their own case. And again, we would represent, and I know that the board's typical resolution would say that the applicants can comply with any applicable laws that relate to his, that relate to his business, if he is, whatever, this is one step in the process, and the other steps need to be complied with as well, that are not necessarily this board's purview. They're going to deal with the land use and all those things, and if there's a licensing, state licensing thing, whatever it is, Mr. Weinberg will have to take care of that, and I'm sure he'll be able to do that appropriately with his representative.
I'm not arguing that.
The land use aspect of it is no more than 21 at a time, 8 to 24 feet, 9 feet tall, by appointment only, daylight hours. That's the land use aspect of it. Licensing or anything, that's a different entity.
I understand that, but I'm saying that we're going to approve a land use. We have to approve it knowing everything. We can't just be like, oh, okay, we'll deal with that later. I feel like in Jackson, we've really come to a point where sometimes we ask for forgiveness instead of permission, and we need to dot our I's and cross our T's before we get to that, because that's where it becomes a problem. Like, I get it. You want to sell trailers? Have at it. But let's make sure everything lines up so that we're not backpedaling later? It was just my question, because one, you're calling it a business, he's not really calling it a business, he's not a dealer, so I'm not really sure where everything just hangs there, like, okay, what is it? It's a home business, but then what do you need to keep that home business going? Does anyone understand my question?
I do, actually.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I'm asking it.
You're asking it the right way, and it is a home business, a home occupation, et cetera, just like my business is a home occupation. And again, the stipulation is, yes, we comply with any applicable laws and regulations, whether it's Board of Health for this, for septic, or the fence permit for the fence
Mhm.
that we want to put up for neighbors. There are other additional approvals that go along the way, and that's appropriate for the board to issue their approval on those other outside agencies, including any licensing that may be required.
Okay, just a question, because like I think if I'm going to be a babysitter, and
Then we
I'm
would-
going to have a few kids, and
So
then
that's a good example.
I'm
So
going to
then what would
switch it to a
happen is-
daycare.
So if you came before us and you wanted to use your home for a home daycare, we would be approving the land use part of that.
Mhm.
Like we're looking at this. The difference is exactly what Mr. Takina pointed out. You would then have to go before the state and make sure that you have, if you have over X amount, I don't remember the law, but it's over X amount of
Yeah.
children, you have to have a daycare license, you'd have to have all these different things, exits, entrance, all that. Back to what he said, you'd have to comply to all those things. So the same thing will apply here. We would be approving, will we allow, where he is not zoned, it's not permitted in the zone. So the question is, will we as a board allow that? What comes next is, he's gonna have to comply with all the other standards, right?
Mhm.
Like I said, if you open a daycare, do you have all the exits? Do you have the necessary licenses?
Do I have the patience?
He would be in the same situation. He will have to comply with all the additional rules and regulations set forth by the state.
Okay, I'm just trying to get
Oh,
a
no,
clear
absolutely.
answer for, just for my own knowledge of how it's going to happen. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else in the public wishing to come forward? Seeing no one else come forward, we're going to go ahead and close public session. I think you said that was your last witness. Would you like to make a closing statement or anything?
Just briefly, that I think in light of the testimony of my client and our professionals, this is a use that he's very sensitive to the intensity of the use and making sure that it does not become an intense use. Certainly, it's where he lives. So certainly he wants to keep the site in as good a shape as it is today, and it is in very good shape. So I'd ask that the board also take that into consideration.
Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and open it to the public. Anyone wishes to come forward and make any general comments or questions, please do so at this time. Seeing no one come forward, I'm going to go ahead and close public session. Did you want to?
Yeah, so the representations and stipulations that were made, there would be conditions, and please, Mr. Paxton, correct me if I say anything that is incorrect, that there would be no motorized vehicles for sale, there no long-term storage, no storage of other people's trailers, applicable state licenses would be obtained, customers by appointment only, privacy fence to be added along the property line in compliance with township ordinances, only minor cosmetic maintenance on site, no employees, hours of operation 9 to 5, 6 days a week, light permitting, not open to the public, appointment only, 1 to 2, that was it, maximum of 21 trailers and no signage, though that would also, obviously, the signage issue goes to site plan. And Mr. Takina had gone over the standard for D3 variance, which is also in Mr. Peters' report. That's basically a conditional use in this case. The home occupation standards, there were 12 standards in the ordinance. One, the not having the home business being conducted outside is not met here. Mr. Takina had given testimony on that regard. As the applicant has to demonstrate the requested relief can be granted without detriment to the public good, will not impair the intent and purpose of the zone plan and zoning ordinance that was discussed, and the special reasons that it carries out the purposes of zoning is listed in the land use law, or refusal to allow the project would impose an undue hardship on the applicant, in this case, the inability to meet the 12th criterion for a home office. That's it.
Okay. So board, it's up to us for discussion. Questions, comments? Mr. Hyman?
I think it's a good application. I think it fits within the intent of the master plan, met the positive and negative criteria, and I believe that the waiver is appropriate.
Okay. Any other questions, comments?
No,
Mr.
I agree.
Martins?
I agree with everything Mr. Hyman said. Just one thing to clarify. I know you said it kind of went through it fast. He is limited to 21
Correct.
trailers.
Correct.
So and I think you're kind of reading my mind today. You addressed it in your last comment, the concern of overdevelopment, right? So if his business grows, he's making millions of dollars, and he wants to put 40 of them in there.
You have to
No.
come back.
And he has
Correct.
to come back and request that. I just want to put that on the record. Otherwise, yeah, thanks.
Seeing no one else is going to speak up, I agree. I also think it's a great application. I'm going to commend you and your neighbor, Mr. Nappy. I think it's great that you had a discussion. You've been here, you've seen that, your input does matter, so I think it's great that you were able to work it out with the fence and everything. Excuse me. I too think it's a great application. I think it is suitable. We talked on the last application about businesses in a certain area. I think this is a perfect example where a commercial business is suitable for that area. It's not seen from the road, it's not impeding your neighbors, it's not creating a high traffic or anything like that. So I do think this is an area which is suitable. So for that purpose, I would make a motion that we approve the application.
I'll second that.
Okay. All right, we have a motion.
Together with all the stipulations
Yes,
stated.
with all the stipulations as stated by Ms. Cipriani. Thank you. So we have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Hyman?
Yes.
Mr. Martins?
Yes.
Ms. Rosal?
Yes.
Mr. Tremor?
Yes.
Ms. Cusano?
Yes.
Mr. Selecchia?
Yes.
Ms. Bradley?
Yes. Your variance has been granted.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
You too. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. I'm sorry? Yep, they'll have to come back for site plan, yep, and then we'll address those things that they don't want to do, yep. Okay, we're going to move forward to applicant number 3, Concourse Holdings LLC, amended site plan 771-5. Mr. Martins, this is a perfect example. So they had gotten, right, so now they want to make changes to it, so they have to come back to get an amendment. So let's just say 5 years from now, his business has grown and he wants to put 40, he'd have to come back before us. Yes.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I had to ask on the first one. I didn't ask on this one. But they're gonna have to come in. Yeah. 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 Okay. Yeah, no, but if we're gonna make a standard timeline, then we're gonna have to do it by ordinance. Yeah. 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 No, there's not a standard timeline. That's why I had asked on the first one that we ended up
Gina, check, you got it? Over a year ago.
Good evening. Stephen Leone, the firm of Carluccio.
Yeah, you're gonna
Leone.
have to yell for us, because we can't, this is so loud, we can't hear us. You just have to yell as much as possible.
Is that better?
Much
Okay.
better.
Good evening. Stephen Leone of the firm of Carluccio, Leone, Diamond, Doyle, Gutman, and Petro, Township River, New Jersey. I know we probably will not complete tonight, but we'll try and get as much in as the board will allow. The professionals have pretty well summarized the history of this application, but for purposes tonight, I'll just highlight a couple of the facts. This is an application that got approved back in 2017 by Resolution 2017-18, which was amended a couple months later by Resolution number 2017-18A. The approval was for a 67,488 square foot office building, and to be built in 2 phases, and also connected with a sewer connection to municipal sewer and municipal water. And that approval was extended several times for good reasons. And the last extension was given in 2023, a 1-year extension that expired in January of 2024. Prior to that expiration, the applicant posted bonds, posted resolution compliance, and started construction by permission, by presenting or posting a stabilization bond should in fact the approval not be followed through with. So I respectfully submit that we're here tonight with respect to a existing approval, seeking to amend that approval, not for the use variance that was granted, only for the configuration of the structure. The same number of square feet are proposed for the amended structure. Instead of being a 2-story building, it's proposed to be a 3-story building. So if I may, I have 3 witnesses that will present, not all of them tonight, but we'd like to start with the applicant and owner.
So just to do a little housekeeping, we normally take testimony until 10:30. I'm not sure if anybody's here in the public to speak on this application, but at 10:30, we would stop testimony and then we would hear from the public. So that's fine. I just want to clarify something. Maybe I just want to make sure I'm understanding. So the original application was extended, but that extension expired in January of 2024. So you're looking to amend the original approval?
Yes.
That's expired.
No, it's been vested because we started construction prior to the expiration of the last approval extension. I might add also, and council, I hope will agree with me, a use variance does not expire. A site plan variance may expire, but if there are no changes to the zone, no changes to the site plan to speak of, or the use rather, that doesn't expire. So we're here on a approved, continuing approval that we're seeking to amend.
So, Ms. Cipriani, just, so you know, we have a lot of new people, and even I'm not quite sure, so could you explain this for us? Thank you.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Yes, so under the municipal land use law, approvals do not expire, but it is permitted for a municipality to have an ordinance that provides for the expiration of approvals, certain approvals. Jackson does have such an ordinance, and it does also provide for extensions. This applicant took advantage of all of those extensions that were available, but the end of those extensions were in January of 2024. However, the applicant is making two representations. One is that they had begun construction to the extent that would vest the approval. So if they have an approval and they've begun construction, then the approval can vest, in which case the underlying approval is still there, and that would be on the approval of the site plan, everything in place with that. The other representation is that a use variance part. So back in 2017, this was a use variance and a site plan approval, that the use variance does not go away. What you get with the expiration, even if that were to come into play, is that it protects the applicant from changes in the zone. I think in this particular zone, those changes do not come into play. Is
Thank
that
you.
fair, Mr. Leon?
We agree.
Can I just ask one thing on that? So the argument is that it's vested to the construction started,
Correct.
right? Okay. So is that per law, per ordinance, that's valid?
That would be for the existing site plan.
Yes.
The vesting goes for the existing site plan, which is what they're here seeking an amendment of. The really critical issue, if I may put it that way, is whether the use variance expired, and that did not. And the part about the site plan and that argument on whether it was fully vested will come into play if the board were to deny this application and the applicant were to try and go forward with the existing application, with the existing approval.
Correct. So if we may, I'll call my first witness, but three witnesses I'm going to call during the application, but not necessarily tonight. First is the owner, Michael. Michael? Okay.
Good evening.
You'll be sworn in.
Yes. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you will give before this board will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do affirm.
I cannot hear a word you're saying.
I do affirm. How's that?
Thank you. Yeah, I'm sorry.
You might come to regret that.
Could you please state your name again for the record?
Malkiel Akamzada.
Akil, what is your position with the applicant?
I am the managing member of Concourse LLC.
Okay. Have you reviewed the amended site plan application?
I have.
You familiar with the site as well?
I am.
When was the site acquired?
In 2021.
After the initial approvals? is that
Correct.
All right. Are you prepared to go forward with the approved project if this project is denied? If this amended application is denied?
Yes.
Okay. Have you gotten approval from the Jackson MUA?
Yes, we have.
And that is to connect to the sewer system and the water system. Is that
Correct.
Have you gotten all other approvals,
Yes,
including the county approval?
yes.
Have
I'm
you
sorry,
po-
Mr. Leone, I'm having trouble hearing you, and I think
Yeah.
I may speak for the board.
Okay, just call me out. My
I'm
question
sorry.
was, have you gotten county approval?
Oh, thank you.
Yes, we have.
And have you posted the necessary performance bonds, site safety bonds? And we'll get into the fact that you've gotten a waiver under the present approval for sidewalks and curbs. And have you posted a necessary contribution for those?
The contributions, I would have to go back and check. This was 2 years ago, but all the bonds have been posted. Anything required was posted, and as best I
Well-
understand, we're shovel-ready.
I'll help you, Michael. I have a copy of the check for the.
Okay.
Okay. You've started construction by clearing,
Correct.
and you posted a bond for that, should there be any failure to follow through with the
The
project?
restoration bond has been posted.
So I'm sorry, was that testimony, was that the site clearing, is that what?
I'm sorry?
I'm sorry, the last part of testimony was that you'd started construction by,
Clearing land and trees. Grading land and trees, yeah. Okay. Now, give the board an answer or explanation as to why you're back here seeking to amend the plan.
So in a nutshell, this application, like I previously responded to Mr. Leone, this property was purchased with the existing approvals. The original owner who had obtained those approvals his vision was that it would be built out with a far larger footprint and as a two-phased project. He didn't think that the economics were quite there yet to be able to lease up a building of this size, 67,000 odd square feet of Class A office. He didn't think he can put that all out on market at once and have it be absorbed by the market. So he wanted to build this in two phases. However, now that we believe that the economics are here and there is sufficient demand for 67,000, it could be leased up in a relatively efficient time manner. We would like to build this as a single-phase project, thereby where we would be minimizing the footprint, changing it from a more sprawling two-story, maintaining the same exact square footage, but creating a three-story structure, which would just be a far more efficient build.
So the engineer and the architect will testify to more detail, but in your view, have you reduced the footprint of the building and increased the open space?
Indeed, we have.
And have you provided a more architecturally innovative design?
I would like to think so.
And in terms of the amended structure, is it the same square footage, only in 3 stories rather than 2?
Correct.
gentlemen, at the risk of being super annoying, could I ask you both to speak up, please?
Okay. My last question was, is the structure the same square footage, 67,488 square feet, that was on a 2-story building in a bigger footprint? Is that the same amount of square footage in the amended structure?
It is.
Okay. Does that also allow you to have more parking on the site, and therefore you don't need a variance for parking?
Correct. It also allows us to install the 12 EV chargers that we're proposing.
Okay. Electric vehicle chargers. What is the estimated cost of the whole development?
Would depend slightly upon interest rates, which, thank God, as of this morning, are again falling. But we estimate it to be right around $19 million.
And to your knowledge, has anything changed on the adjacent property to you on either the east side or west side or in the rear? Or is the area the same as when the original approval was obtained?
It has stayed the same.
Could you confirm that there will be no medical use of any of the office space that's for rent?
I can.
You understand that if there were medical use, you might need more parking?
Correct.
And you'd have to come back to this board?
Yes.
Okay. And you confirm that construction started on or about January 23rd?
January 2023.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
January 15th, 2020.
It's slightly before that. It was the first few days of January.
One of the reviews by the engineer or the planner asked if you would consider solar panels on the roof.
Yeah, we certainly would consider it. We really need to see how the solar would essentially go on the roof. So we'd have to see how the HVAC would lay out and then see what kind of a yield we'd be able to get.
Okay. And have you, at this time, in this application, decided on any signs on the building or any project signs? And if you do, will you comply with the ordinance and come back here for site plan approval?
We haven't gotten to that point, but we will certainly comply with any of the relevant ordinances.
Okay, so I have no further questions of this witness.
Any questions for this witness?
Yeah.
Mr. Martin?
Yep. I was trying to follow the change, right? So you said that the original owner had 2 phases, right?
Correct.
And basically your change is, I want to do it all at once because I think the market can support it. Those 2 phases, right, were they both approved? You had approval for those?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And the footprint of the 2 phases versus the 1 is the same? I think that's what you...
No.
No? Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, it's all yours.
The footprint of the amended plan is smaller than the original footprint. The engineer, when we have him testify, will go into that in detail.
Yeah, okay. Right. So the footprint itself, it's smaller, but it's higher.
That's
You're just
correct.
going up.
That's
Instead
correct.
of going sideways. Okay.
That's correct.
Okay. All right. That's clear. Okay. That's all I had. I wanted to understand those phases. Thank you.
Okay.
I have some
Mr.
questions. I see the letter from the fire official is May 29th. Did he review the 3-story building or the 2-story building?
We have reviews by the planner and the engineer of this application. The prior structure was a review.
So he didn't review this structure?
Yeah, yes.
He did.
Well, I let him speak for himself, but we have review letters.
There was the fire official.
Okay. The fire official,
Oh, I'm sorry, the fire official.
the fire official is May 29th. Did he see these new plans?
I believe so. The engineer can confirm that.
All right. How tall is the building?
It's 50 feet tall, and with some columns that are another 5 feet that we seek a C variance for. It's not, it's below 10% higher than the existing building. But they're non-occupied, they're just decorative features.
So you
The
probably-
building is 50 feet.
So you're probably looking for a waiver for the height.
It's a variance.
How much did you reduce the footprint by?
about 15,000 square feet. But I'll let the engineer go into that.
I understand that.
I don't want to play engineer.
So it didn't change the number of occupants?
No, same square footage,
Okay.
only 1 story higher.
So it doesn't affect parking or impervious or anything?
It does not increase the parking. Before, there was a variance for parking that's being eliminated.
Okay. Well, that's a good thing. All right, that's it for now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any additional questions for this witness? I'm going to go ahead and open it to the public. Anyone wishing to come forward and ask questions? Seeing no one come forward, we're going to go ahead and close public
Thank you.
session. Mr. Lee, thank you. Sorry
Thank
about
you.
that. Mr. Leone, you can call your next witness.
Madam Chairman, I'd like to take out of sequence the architect because of her late hour and travel. And frankly, she's expecting a child.
That's good. Perfect.
Be
Hello.
sworn in.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you'll give before this board will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I affirm.
And could you give your name and credentials for the record?
Yeah, hi, my name is Rachel Pashkus. I'm a licensed architect in the state of New Jersey, and I've testified before this board probably around 2 years ago.
I know you were present before, and I think you know what I'm going to ask. Could you please speak as loudly as possible?
Sure.
Thank you.
And this board accepts your credentials.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are you familiar with the application?
Yes,
Have you visited the site and you're familiar with the site?
I don't believe I've actually visited the actual site, but I've driven on that road.
Okay. Have you seen the site plan and reviewed the site? Plan?
Yes.
So, please describe the structure that you've designed for this site that we're seeking approval for.
Sure. So we were approached by the applicant to design or redesign the approved structure. As you heard, it used to be a 2-story building for 2 phases, and we redesigned it to be a single structure, 3 stories, maintaining the same square footage. Several benefits are increased open space, increased parking, more efficient build, and better timeline in construction. The way that we maintain the square footage is by going up another story. Building height is proposed with the roof at 45 feet. I do believe there had been a submission showing architectural feature going higher than that. It is going to be amended to be down to about, I would say, do we have it over here? Yeah, that's going to be amended to be about 55 feet. It's just a parapet, what we call like a architectural feature above the roof. Building exterior, as you see, is going to be mainly glass, a pretty open look, and then some architectural colored paneling on the exterior.
Can you go through the floor plans and can you have, I
Yeah.
guess, Tim, are you operating that? No. Okay. Why don't you go through the plans? The floor plans.
They want it on the screen?
Yeah.
I'm not going to.
You don't have it?
Yeah. I think it wants to go to the floor plan, yeah.
Can you help, Tim?
Yeah, next sheet. Yep, here we are. Yeah. You want me to go through?
Go ahead. explain?
Yeah.
That's the first
Okay,
floor.
yeah, so this is the first floor. If we take a look here at the screen, you'll see there are two main entrances to the building, and then the building is being proposed, as the client said, as office space to be leased out. So there are proposed offices on the plan, and it's a pretty open layout right now for the potential tenants.
Can you explain the square footage of each floor?
Sure. So the building footprint shrunk significantly since the previous application. The actual footprint of the building, so the first floor is, okay, we can see it on the other sheet, but it's 22,635 square feet. And then the second floor has slightly less square footage due to an open to below lobby. So part of the first and second floor are connected, and then the total building square footage stayed the same at 67,488 square feet.
And go back to the elevations.
And I'm sorry, what was the third floor?
Third floor would be the same square footage as the building footprint, because it's a complete enclosed floor.
Why is the second floor a little less formal?
It's just architectural feature to help draw in the tenants, you know, so that they
There's
come
an
in and it's a double height.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how is that building oriented towards Veterans Highway?
So I believe it's shown rotated on our plans. We show it in the length, but when someone's on Veterans coming into the site, it's going to be like taller. It's going to be opposite what's shown on the plan. So this view, the main entrance, is actually perpendicular from East Veterans. So someone drives into the site, they're going to go into the building from the two sides. The main entry doors are not actually facing the street.
Now, in terms of this design versus the prior design, what are some of the advantages or disadvantages?
So, as mentioned, it's much less sprawling. It's more condensed, one building, rather than sort of taking over the whole site plan as in the previous concept. And I'm sure you'll see much more when we take a look at the site plan. You'll see how it's actually just one structure rather than two separate structures that were linked.
Will there be any landscaping around the base of the structure?
Yeah, yes.
Could you talk about the design in terms of its creativity, its uniqueness versus the other building that existed before?
Yeah, so the other building was a much lower build, as we had mentioned, 2 stories, pretty low down, and sort of just looked a little, I would say, a little more repetitive just due to the size. So now that it's more a tighter shape, it's able to just be more condensed, and it has, I would say, like a horizontal and vertical look just due to the architectural feature at the front that gives a little lift, and then it has the horizontal banding as well, which helps give it like a cube shape.
I think you said you reduced the height of the total of the columns or whatever to be, was originally 60 feet. It's now 55 feet?
Yeah, yeah. So there is an architectural feature on the exterior that was proposed at 60 feet. We brought that down to 55 feet, and that will be reflected in the next round of submission to the board. And that's purely an architectural feature. It's not even the roof, it's just a parapet. So it's, like you see that orange piece at the front, it's coming down. Yeah.
And what is the roof height itself?
The roof height itself is 45 feet.
Are you sure that? I
Yeah,
thought it
yeah,
was-
yeah, it is. We took a double check, yep.
Okay,
It's
good.
45 feet, so we're lower, yeah.
Okay. Is there a parapet wall around the top of the?
Yeah,
roof?
yeah, so typical, this is gonna be a flat roof, like typical for commercial building. And the parapet will be several feet higher than the 45-foot roof.
About 4 feet, would you say?
Yeah, it's typically plus minus 4 feet. That's the main parapet that wraps the full roof. And then this, the orange center feature is the point that would be the highest at up to that 55-foot limit.
Is there any planned recreational, social, or eating on the roof?
No,
being planned?
there's no rooftop access for amenity.
Please describe the materials being used on the outside of the structure.
Sure, so it's mainly glass curtain wall, so, and windows. And then there are also pillars, horizontal and vertical bands, which would be clad in what's called a rain screen cladding. It's a exterior paneling system.
You want to add anything to your testimony?
I believe we covered it. I think our intent here is to enhance the design and to provide aesthetically pleasing building that works within the site and would be pleasant for the users.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Through the chair?
Mr. Hyman?
Yeah, could you just elaborate, do you have any signage?
At this point, the signage that's being shown is building address on the exterior.
On the building, or is that
That
by
would
the
be-
street?
No, this is, well, it's on the building, but there's, it's on the canopy coming that like protects from the rain.
As it's shown
As
in
it's shown
the-
on the screen,
So-
yeah.
And it's only going to be on one side?
Both sides. Both sides. If you look here, these are the two, the building facade is basically, it's a rectangle, so it's the same design on both sides. The long side is mirrored and the short side are mirrored. And there's
Okay,
entries
so
on both sides.
I just want to point that out. I think, here from our planner, but I think that would need variance.
Let's do it this way. Mr. Leone, best of your knowledge, your applicant's not requesting any waivers or variances as it relates to signage, correct?
Correct, and will comply with any signage
So between-
ordinance. And if there is a project sign, be coming back probably.
Okay, but I think we're focused on building signage. So
Building
between now and the
signs.
next meeting, there's a discussion about signage. We should get it on the record. If you want something, ask for it. Otherwise, the record is you're going to comply with the ordinance, which means that staff's going to deal with this staff. And there won't be any approvals for overage on it.
Correct.
When someone says we're going to have a sponsor for the building, we're going to have wings of the building,
No,
you're going to need to come back here.
yes.
Okay. Does that take care of the signage issue for you, Mr. Hyman?
Thank you. I just think that on the fire report, I think it mentioned also requesting some kind of signage to be seen from the street, I think. So I'm not sure how that would work out. If this is facing the side, it would need something facing the road that would be visible from the road.
Okay.
We can address any comments that would need to be addressed between now and there's going to be amendments on the height, so we can get that in
No
if it's
problem. I'm just
required.
bringing it up to make sure that
Yeah.
you have it for next time.
Respectfully, at 55 feet, you're going to see it from the road anyway.
I'm talking about the address.
Okay. My turn?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, I think I'm going to have the same question to different, for this application, to different people standing up. So I'm going to ask you, you mentioned a whole bunch of advantages of the fact that you're going up instead of going sideways because your footprint's smaller. It's all great. What are the disadvantages? What do I need to worry about if I'm a resident for the fact that you're now 3 stories versus 2 stories? What is the disadvantage of it to me as a resident? That's to you. You got
I'm
any
thinking.
Oh,
I'm
you're
thinking.
thinking, okay.
I'm thinking.
Good.
Yep.
Yep.
I don't want to answer you too fast.
I know. You can say there aren't any because of where you stand. But like I said, I'm going to ask that question too.
I would really say it's a little bit of a personal preference, and I would think it's specific to each site. So, like theoretically, on a site where we would be right to the edge of the site, I would think that there could be disadvantages to going very high. You'll have, you may be very close, you're encroaching visually. On a site that's much larger, going taller and staying condensed might be actually much more of a benefit because we have the space for the height, like we're proportionate to the site, and we're not actually overtaking the site by just building out the whole hardscape.
Thank you. I know that was a tough question from your point of view. Thank you very much.
No questions? No concerns as far as fire equipment or anything?
Of argument. She's good at what she does. I like what she draws. 45 feet is reachable and it's acceptable. The 5-foot parapet makes it tougher for the fire department, but it saves lives. It's important. She knows I like that feature too, so I'm not going to put my foot in it. I think it's a beautiful building. I like it.
Thank you. Any other questions? Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Peters and then
Thank you.
Gina.
You make me stay awake this long.
Say again?
You made me stay awake this long. Thank you for your testimony. So there are going to be revised plans submitted?
Yeah.
Okay, I saw some quizzical looks from board members when they were looking at the plans. So we're going to get revised plans before the next hearing. Is there any proposed habitable use of the roof for this design?
No.
So you're not proposing people to be out on the roof?
No, there is a staircase access to the roof, but that would be strictly for maintenance purposes.
Not for tenants, not
No,
for...
no.
Okay. I want to ask you, but I want to ask Mr. Leone. So you're proposing a total building height of 55 feet, which requires a variance. So at some time, is this the person who's giving the proofs for the variance, or is that someone else?
It's someone else.
Okay. And we understand that if it's one hair above 55 feet, that it requires a D variance, correct?
Agreed.
Okay, thank you. I have nothing else.
That's probably why it's not 60.
That's not why it was changed. Ms. Chungalo?
Ernie kind of stole my question just about, you have it labeled as occupied roof deck, so that's what I was going to
Yeah,
follow up
that's
on.
going to be amended in the updated.
Right, so we're getting that second
That's
set
where
of
the
plans.
confusion's coming from, yeah.
Right. That'll also amend the height difference that you discussed. And then just to have it on the record, your utilities are going to be planned to be installed on the roof, correct? Not going to be anything on the ground?
I think
Yeah, I think that would come from the engineer.
Okay.
Yeah, but there will be basic mechanical rooftop equipment.
Right. But
Standard.
the parapet would be your highest projection.
That's, the parapet wraps edge. Oh, yeah, and the main tall parapet would be the highest projection, yes.
Okay. All right, thank you very much.
Can I ask one thing? Yeah. Can we just make sure that any redesigned or changed plans go to the fire official just for his approval? I know lots of times the original plans are approved, and then the other plans never make it to them, which then I have to complain about, and let's just stop that before it even happens. Just make sure he gets to see it, please.
We'll submit proof of that.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Any additional questions at this time? So it's 10:35. Thank you very much. That was
Okay.
very helpful.
Thank you.
I'm going to go ahead and open this to the public. Anyone wishing to come forward and ask questions about the testimony you heard this evening, please do so at this time. Obviously, you've heard they'll be coming back, so you will have an opportunity.
Madam Chairman, I don't know if we need to bring her back. If you say we do, we will.
The plans are going to change, right?
Yeah, so, Mr. Leon, you don't have to bring her back, but if the board has questions that are properly answered by an architect on the changed plans, then we would ask that she be made available. And right now, we have someone from the public who has a question.
Okay.
Eric Jones.
I'm sorry, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give before this board will be the truth and nothing but
Yes,
the
if it
truth?
applies. I really don't
Yeah,
have
I'm
a
not
question.
sure
I don't know if you're
either.
going to have a public thing after we're all done here or no.
Yes. Well, you can go ahead
This
and
is
ask
the
your questions
question
now.
part now.
I don't really have questions. I just, when we talk about the rural character of this town, this is not rural character. I understand the struggles of builders and stuff to put something in such a square foot. Like the first guy, the first applicant we had, he got knocked down because it didn't fit, all right? Like they say, if the glove didn't fit, you must have quit, right? So, to me, this is a monstrosity. I know I drive down the Avenue of the States and the Avenue of the Americas in Lakewood. That's a city. This is a city. I don't know where everybody here grew up. They didn't grow up around here. But everybody always says, even yourself, Mr. Hyman, you always say the rural character. This is not rural character. This is a glass house. The other building they built next to it, that's rural character. You know, where the Circle 9 place is, that's rural. This is city. This will probably be, isn't this going to be the first 3-story building in Jackson? Where's the other ones?
County line and,
The one where the old gas station
Rita's.
was? That's the
Yes.
first one?
Yeah. County line.
There's only
across
one.
from Rita's.
Well, there's,
That's it, first one. This will be the second.
there is an adjoining property owned by the Clayton Industry that has got office buildings planned. Frankly, I don't recall, because I was the attorney, I don't recall whether they're 2-story or 3-story. I think they're
Well,
2-story.
Clayton's been there forever, so.
No, but Clayton hasn't developed its property, but will be in conjunction with this site.
And the other thing is, how does this fit into industrial? Isn't this an
I'm
industrial
sorry,
zone?
can't hear you.
Isn't this an industrial zone?
It is,
But how
but
does how does an office building fit into industrial?
Well, it doesn't necessarily fit into an industrial, but they have the right to request a variance.
Well, they already have a use
Right.
variance for.
Correct.
See, that's what's killing this town, is
Yeah.
variances. All the variances killing this place.
So just to clarify, the rural nature of this town, there's different zones for different things. This is an industrial zone. They didn't request a variance for a office building, but not sure what the issue is.
Yeah, if I can, just I think to clarify too. So
There's-
as you said before, you already received
We received a
approval
use for
Correct.
that, absolutely.
for that. I think the issues that Eric, if I may just use your first name, is bringing up. So at this point, we're not addressing that. We're addressing whether you can go higher or not.
Correct,
Right?
correct.
Anyway, thank you.
Thank you.
So that will conclude our testimony for tonight. We need to come up with a date. Ms. Tumalo and Ms. Cipriani?
Yeah, Not me.
Ms.
I don't come
Tumalo,
up with
okay.
dates.
I thought I had it right the first time.
All right.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Do we know we'll be back at the next meeting, or when our next,
I think Ms.
So the next available date is going to be January 7th. We do have one current application on for that date, or you are more than welcome to January 21st, which we currently have no applications pending.
I think January 21st is when I will be available, so,
January 21st?
yes.
Okay, and the plans will be revised by then and be submitted and
The plans have
for everyone to
actually,
review?
they have been revised and submitted, but not in sufficient time.
Okay, and would you be able to also meet Mr. Trummer's request of having the fire official review them by then?
Yeah.
Thank you
Yes.
very much.
Yes.
Yikes. All right, so see if there's any public comment.
All right. We're going to go ahead and open up to the public. If you'd like to come forward and have any questions or concerns at this time that weren't already addressed. Otherwise, as you've heard, they will be coming back on January 21st, 2026. That sounds so weird. January 21st of 2026.
Mrs. Cipriani, I'll
Is
send you a
notice
letter
required?
extending time.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
You're extending time, and you're waiving the statutory.
I'm sorry?
And you're waiving the statutory time frame.
Yes. Well, I'm not waiving it. I'm
Yeah,
going
well,
to extend it.
Any renotice, Jean?
No need to renotice.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Motion to adjourn? All in favor?
Motion, aye.